the stuff you'll need to furnish dugouts and more. 2-tiered benches, helmet racks, bat racks, and individual player storage. Plus, windscreens and wall pads. Even field tarps to protect from rain so you're ready for game time. Check out the popular Field General, Commander, and Trooper helmet and bat combos to make your dugout look like the pros. Go to pytsports.net, that's pytsports.net, and get ready for a great baseball season. Play ball!
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, boy. Sing it, birthday boy.
Is this Johnny B? Okay, all right.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
How old are we today?
As Bob Hope said, you're at the age where the candles cost more than the cake.
No, are you 52 or 53?
I don't know. Talk to my biographer. How old are you?
I don't know.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I may be something. I may be double nickels. I may be playing with a full deck. I'm not sure. I'm somewhere in between 50 and 60.
Uh-huh.
Because trust me, Justin and Quinn, it'll happen to you. Once you turn 50, you don't really, But we did have your roast.
I'm closer to 50 than I am to 60, and I don't know if everybody in the room can say that.
Stop it. Okay.
All right. So,
well, happy birthday. We're glad you're in studio
so
today
much.
and tomorrow.
Yes. Thank
well,
you
here,
so
I have something for you.
Yeah, I'm in studio because
your mailbox was breaking.
Whistled back to this state for,
That's for you. Happy birthday.
on a small scale. I'm in town to celebrate my birthday by having to appear before State Board of Elections. To appear at a State Board of Elections hearing because of the lawfare practiced by Jelly Belly in this state. Yeah, I wonder why anybody would want to leave, but I digress. Oh, maybe that's a conversation for later.
Yes, I would like to talk about that later.
No. So what we talk about now, one of the things that, if you listen to the show, is a theme that we try to imprint upon people's minds is different names, same policies, same results in big city America, but also sort of urban metropolitan areas across the country. And, every weekend you get a collection of stories that drive this point home. And I thought with the occasion of Luis Huesca's mom speaking, she was at the FOP Lodge talking about the loss of her son, of course, Chicago police officer Luis Huesca. I thought it was a good time to revisit what is termed here by the willfully blind, the addicts of beautiful lies. Big city living. Edith Huesca on her son.
I feel frustrated because I cannot do nothing, just waiting for the authorities make the justice.
The only thing I want is justice for my son.
Yeah, hoping for justice. And of course, as everybody's by now seen, there's been an arrest warrant issued for the suspect in Officer Huesca's murder.
His name's Xavier Tate Jr. He's from Aurora, but according to court records, on March 6th, he had a misdemeanor charge of criminal trespass in Olympia Fields. So he was supposed to be in court for that charge last Wednesday, and obviously he didn't show up for that appearance. But why can't we catch a cop killer? I mean, obviously people know who he is. I mean, there's surveillance video of him out everywhere, and I just, I don't know what's taking so long.
Big City Living. Big City Living. So, Big City Living, as illustrated by the murder of police officers in Chicago over the last few years. Big City Living, as evidenced by the attitude of D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Washington, D.C. last year was one of the few metropolitan areas that saw a spike in violent crime on top of the spikes that all of these big cities saw in violent crime during COVID. And here is how she responded to a question about whether she would meet with a resident of D.C. named John Evans, who has had 3 of his sons murdered on the streets of D.C.
Oh, my God.
I don't talk about my discussions with families.
But and respectfully, I'm not asking you to divulge in any conversations, but do you plan to meet them at all?
No.
Can I ask why?
I've answered your question. Any other questions?
John Evans tells us he is disappointed in that answer. Now, he has heard from someone with the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. Evans's 14-year-old son, Avion, was killed on April 4th, nearly 8 years after his older son was stabbed at the Deanwood Metro Station in 2016. The Evans family went through another loss last May when another son was shot on M Street.
No, I've answered your question.
Next question. Any other questions? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Big City Living.
She can't be bothered, Dan.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Ooh.
You don't think of that as necessarily a hotbed of crime. It's not in the news very much, but they got problems in Albuquerque, like any city with more than a couple 100,000 people, because it's the same policies run by the same party with slightly different names. That's the only distinction. So see if the story of Joseph Rivera sounds familiar at all to the denizens of Chicagoland.
Had a warrant out for his arrest after police say in July he was found passed out in a stolen car. But even with 5 previous felony convictions, a judge released him days later. Then he failed to appear in court. He was arrested again in September and released again. He didn't appear in court in October, yet when he was arrested, he was released again. He has been on the run since and now faces more burglary and car theft charges. Judge Joseph Montano ordered Rivera to stay behind bars.
The case for which he's finally been ordered to stay behind bars after he was arrested and released and didn't show, and was arrested again and released and didn't show, and then he was arrested again and released and didn't show. The reason he's now finally behind bars is because when a woman named Anissa Tinen was enjoying an evening with her 4-year-old granddaughter, she came face to face with this guy trying to get away from police. He broke into her home. When he broke in, when he tried to break in the second time, she had her gun and she shot him. She said, Miss Tinen, I jumped over this couch and we met there by the front door. That's when he grabbed me and was upset and said to give him my keys. He said he didn't want to go to jail. He did threaten to hurt my granddaughter and me. But wait, he was a non-violent offender in those thefts and burglaries that he was released for, and when he didn't show up for his court date, he was released, and then he was released again, and then he was released again, and now they finally catch up with him threatening to hurt a grandma and her 4-year-old granddaughter while he is trying to evade police yet again.
And
Big City Living.
Hopefully the homeowner won't be charged.
Big
better not.
City Living.
Well, and it's Luis Wesco, his funeral is today, the wake was yesterday, and one thing that his sister said in that same meeting at the FOP Lodge was, why can't they find the person who did this to my brother? I feel sick. I'm not going to feel better until I know he's not walking around living his life when my brother's life is gone. And he had so much more to live for.
In L.A., Kitson's clothing stores in L.A., they can't get any help from police. Does that sound familiar? Police, and it's not the police's disposition, but it's the prosecutors, it's the mayor, Karen Bass, just like Brandon Johnson, just like Eric Adams, just like Spin the Wheel, name a big city mayor, Muriel Bowser in D.C., the other Brandon in Baltimore. Pick one, anyone. Why is this important? Well, because it's on the ballot in November. That's why it's important. I don't live there. You do, though. You may not live in a town named Los Angeles, but the story out of Los Angeles is the same story in Chicago. The story out of Albuquerque is the same story in Chicago. The story out of Washington, D.C. is the same story in Chicago. This is resonating, yes? Share it with a friend. Lisa Goodman is a stylist at the Kitson's clothing stores in L.A., and they came up with a novel approach to dealing with shoplifters at their 4 stores in L.A. Lisa explains to local media out there.
She stole $500 from our main store on Robertson, stole $1,000 worth of our merchandise.
Shoplifters beware. If you steal from Kitson stores, your photo, described as the new mugshot, will be displayed on the window for a little public shaming.
We feel as a small business we have to take matters into our own hands. We're not being supported really by the mayor. We're not being supported by the district attorney.
Kitson stylist Lisa Goodman says shoplifting losses at their 4 locations are in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Sometimes they come in and they just grab tables worth of stuff and take it to their car. And sometimes they just shove it in their pocket, they'll wear it out. Various.
Kitson not only hangs photos of shoplifters on the windows, they also post videos on social media of people shoplifting at their stores. And without fail, someone online ends up identifying the shoplifters.
We're publicly shaming them, and we're doing what we need to do to protect our business.
In some of the cases, after the shoplifters have been shamed, they actually come back to the store to return the merchandise they stole.
Oh, that's...
I love that.
That's the best thing ever. And then, can you take my picture down now? I return the items.
And video. They're posting videos of surveillance camera footage of the actual robbery on social media.
That's excellent.
Yeah, public shaming, such a underappreciated tool, I think. Why don't we do that? You know, what's the police blotter for? The police blotter in, the local newspapers back in the day, it's for public shaming.
Oh, yeah. Public intoxication, Iowa. We'd always grab the Daily Iowan and look at, the police blotter. Who got arrested for what?
Shame has gone out of fashion, and where it's shaming somebody is appropriate. The left uses it inappropriately to silence people with whom they disagree because they're thugs. And we're talking about doing it on behalf of people who play by the rules against the thugs. Yeah, let's profile them. Your faces on billboards.
Oh, that's
store
right.
windows. Online, obviously, is cheap. I'd like to see the Kitson's approach be adopted by more businesses. You want to do something when you're not getting help from your local, state government? Maybe Kitson's is the model. You got to do something to survive big city living, don't you?
Yeah, we have digital billboards, too, so they could pop that up real quick.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century with IoT Smart Connected Scan. It's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, visit surroundchicago.com right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Visit surroundchicago.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Another big city living story, just to mention in passing. First, Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., got her home broken into.
Yeah.
And that was the second time it happened while she was home. And then now Adam Schiff, your senator in waiting, Steve Garvey can't upset him, he got his luggage stolen on a trip to San Francisco.
I heard they busted in his car and took his luggage, so he didn't have a suit to wear for a fundraiser, so he was just wearing jeans and a little jacket.
Yeah,
But
yoga pants and a crop top, probably.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
to
big
live by
city
the
living.
policies that you create. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 5:38 on Friday, Mr. 10%, the big guy, committed to debating Trump on Howard Stern's program, and both he and Stern had more to say about that. We'll have something to say about what they said at 5:38.
And glamping for Palestine. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
5:32 is our time in Chicago. Rain showers and 64 degrees. The White House urging protesters on university campuses against the Israel-Hamas war to keep demonstrations peaceful. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby on ABC's This Week.
We certainly respect the right of peaceful protest. People should have the ability to air their views and to share their perspectives publicly, but it has to be peaceful.
White House also says Joe Biden has again spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, pressure building on Israel and Hamas to try and broker some kind of deal that would free some Israeli hostages. Former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis met privately in Miami. The Washington Post reporting the two met Sunday, a deal brokered by political allies that resulted in DeSantis, the Post says, agreeing to help Donald Trump. Search and rescue efforts are underway in Oklahoma after severe weather on Saturday caused at least 4 deaths. Governor Kevin Stitt declaring a state of emergency over a dozen counties.
You just can't believe the destruction. Like, it seems like every business in downtown has been destroyed now.
Jeff Moore with the Okmulgee County Emergency Management Team says crews were on standby when the storms hit.
There was a tornado spotted on the ground. We notified the National Weather Service, and after everything cleared, we started responding to the area to do cleanup and search and rescue operations.
Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says the abortion issue will be sorted out at the state level. He made those comments during an interview on NBC's Meet the Press. It'll be a busy week when it comes to first quarter earnings, with more than 150 companies set to report results. Chief among them are big names like Apple and Amazon. Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Huesca will be held at the St. Rita Chapel in Chicago. Meantime, rewards totaling $100,000 are being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the man wanted for the murder of Huesca. A warrant was issued for the arrest of Xavier Tate, Jr. The Northsiders lost to the Red Sox at Fenway 5-4. Cubs trailed by 4 heading into the 7th. They tallied 1 run in the 8th. Mike Tauchman hit a game-tying 3-run shot, but the Cubs gave up a walk-off single to Tyler O'Neill in the 9th. 17-11 Cubs and Jamison Taillon to the mound against the Mets tonight. The White Sox doubled their win total over the weekend, sweeping the Rays. with a 4-2 victory at guaranteed rate. Bears add a trio of players to their roster on days 2 and 3 of the NFL draft and also signed 16 undrafted free agents, including Illinois defensive tackle Keith Randolph. The news is powered by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping the lights on when unexpected storms cause a loss of power at your business. Get help quickly at CharlesEquipment.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
Joe Biden tells Netanyahu to reduce civilian casualties or risk U.S. support. So what does that mean? Hey, you moron. What does that mean? Are you single-handedly going to abandon Israel in the name of the 7th century barbarians who started the whole conflict? And you want to blame Israel for the death of aid workers who should have never been there in the first place? How many aid workers were in Japan when we dropped 2 nukes on it?
The Sean Thompson Show. Weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Homeschooling is becoming much more common these days. Children graduate at a higher rate, and a vast majority of homeschooled children go on to graduate college. But where do you start? How do you homeschool your children? Visit homeschools.org for an amazing homeschool curriculum with Christian values. Christian Liberty Homeschools is a pioneer of the modern homeschool movement and has helped thousands of families get started and succeed. With a Christian Liberty homeschool curriculum, school is on your time. It's flexible, allowing you to vacation whenever you want and making the world your classroom. Watch how your child's confidence soars as you stay in control of the content of your child's education, backed by a great support network. If you're ready to escape from the public school system and homeschool your child in good faith, visit homeschools.org today. Christian Liberty Homeschools, where your child's future is in great hands. That's homeschools.org.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Oil and natural gas keep going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that can potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC-accredited investor and have at least $25,000 liquid now, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects and a huge tax savings for this year. If you invest in oil and natural gas, you're allowed to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel, and natural gas is the fuel of the future and trading at record prices. Call 800-287-6691. Encore Energy is a major investor and experienced operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-6691.
Baseball and softball season will be starting soon at fields everywhere. I'm not talking about those overpriced professional palaces with the prima donnas. I'm talking about the neighborhood where the kids, Little League fields, their family, their fathers, their coaches will all be out in the sun. There's a company in Bridgeview, PYT Sports, that's working with volunteer coaches, Little League managers, and dads. Good, hardworking guys that want to help their kids and friends have a good time this summer instead of getting into trouble on the streets. PYT Sports has all the stuff you'll need to furnish dugouts and more. 2-tiered benches, helmet racks, bat racks, and individual player storage, plus windscreens and wall pads, even field tarps to protect from rain so you're ready for game time. Check out the popular Field General, Commander, and Trooper helmet and bat combos to make your dugout look like the pros. Go to pytsports.net, that's pytsports.net, and get ready for a great baseball season. Play ball!
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
5:39, a check of the roads in our Team Hochberg Traffic Center. Kennedy inbound, already heavy. 32 minutes O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Kennedy outbound, solid traffic between the junction and Central. You've got flooding blocking 2 right-hand lanes from the overnight rain. Dan Ryan coming inbound, flooding in a right lane, right at 31st, causing delays. Accident on 394 in the south suburbs. It's northbound, right at Thornton Lansing Road. Tri-State northbound, accident being shoved onto the right shoulder. Car into a light pole northbound on 294 just before Halstead. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Morning showers, then afternoon clouds and sun. High 74. Clear and cooler overnight, low near 50. Heavy rain at Midway, 63. Light rain at O'Hare, 63. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. All right. Rich in Indian Head Park is holding on with an important message, so
yes,
better get to him. Rich in Indian Head Park here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Morning.
Just wanted to say I listen to the show every morning, and this morning I just wanted to call in and wish you, Dan, a happy birthday and many, many more, and you have a great day today.
What, I don't get a song? Thanks so much, Rich. I appreciate it. No, it's all right.
Let him. He's thinking.
No.
Rich, do you want to sing anything to Dan?
It'd be uncomfortable.
Happy birthday to you, Dan.
Thank you. That's
I
good.
don't have any music behind me.
Talk singing like Johnny Cash. I accept that. Thank you.
And Rich, we love you as a listener. Thank you. That was very nice.
Especially since this is my last day of freedom before I'm sent to State Board of Elections jail.
Yeah, tell me I vaguely remember this, but
it's a complaint that Jelly Belly, through his henchmen, filed against the PAC that I run from the 2022 governor's race. It's totally without merit, and I have to testify at a hearing to dispense with this administrative process.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Dan?
I do.
Does this have anything?
Permission
to
to treat the witness as hostile. Yes.
You
granted.
can't handle the truth.
Granted. Yeah.
This has nothing to do with the Scream video, though.
No,
the Scream ad. But
no,
that's during that same campaign cycle.
No, but they, there's just this.
No, that's
really
what they do. This is what Democrats do.
Yeah, it's just lawfare by other means. Administrative agencies over which they make appointments, and they with their staffers, and we're gonna, bleed as much time and money out of, in this case, me and the PAC, as we can, just to punish you for daring to support. Darren Bailey in this case, in that governor's race. Anyway, so yeah.
So is that a 2-day hearing?
I don't know. They may take me right to the guillotine out back.
I hope you don't go to solitary confinement. They are trying to change the hours there in solitary confinement.
Yeah. So. Well, I'll write to everybody if I'm whisked away. All right, we got to get to some other matters here. So on Friday. Boy.
Oh, boy.
Really interesting, this in advance of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The big guy, Mr. 10%, Joe Biden, sat down with Howard Stern. Boy.
I watched the whole thing. We'll talk about licking someone's butt.
Well, right, and also
or kissing it.
Also, well, either way.
Sorry. That just got a little gross.
He's a butt licker.
Okay.
Sure.
Shoe licker. That's what.
So how much egg on the faces of center-right conservative Howard Stern fans is there, since he lost his mind during COVID and politically? I mean, I know he was never any sort of conservative, and I know his dalliance with libertarianism was a put-on, or he's just so, ill-informed and daffy, he doesn't even know what that meant. He's just trying to get people to pay attention to him, because that's sort of what we do in this culture, is make a spectacle of yourself, no matter how absurd, how much it's an appeal to the lowest common denominator, and people pay attention, then you get $500 million from SiriusXM or something. Not that he ever realized those numbers, because SiriusXM didn't, but I digress. Anyway, so first we got, before we even get to the payoff, which is the exchange they had about debates come the fall between Biden and Trump, we had the greatest hits of Joe's fabulism. Joe the Fabulist was present and accounted for. And they all weren't there, but a lot of them were. I actually hadn't even heard this one.
Me neither.
he was a matinee idol during the 70s, Joe Biden.
He was hot and it's single, and the ladies wanted him, Dan.
I got put in that 10 most eligible bachelors list.
Because you were a United States Senator, you were a catch. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and a lot of lovely women, but women would send very salacious pictures, and I'd just give them to the Secret Service. I thought somebody would think I was, and I just gave up.
First of all, you didn't have Secret Service protection back then as a senator. But I didn't know he was such a hot catch, the cat's meow.
He was bigger than the Beatles in the 70s. Joe Biden, no question.
Nobody wants to hear that. They're throwing their panties at you. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
he was.
So
It was.
uncomfortable.
Don't you remember in Delaware? I mean, it was like Tom Jones with this guy everywhere he went. So he would manage to survive all the women trying to capture his attention in the 70s.
Oh my God!
But before that, even
What else do we have? This is just the craziest interview.
I mean, he was a lifesaver. I know we've heard a lot of stories about the local pool.
Oh, corn pop, right? That's where he met corn pop. And then the black girls would play with the white hair on his legs. I remember him telling that.
Blonde, I think.
Something we never need to know anyway. Thanks.
But he was a lifesaver. I mean, literally. Basically, the David Hasselhoff character in Baywatch was loosely based on Joe Biden's life.
I learned a lot, and I made a lot of friends. And,
Did you ever save anyone's life when you were a lifeguard? Was anyone ever drowning?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, well, half a dozen times. Usually younger kids, but...
You do the thing with the whistle and then jump in the bathing suit? And
you got it.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a big pool. There were 7 lifeguard stands.
Wow. See, that would define my... I would brag about that everywhere I went.
Well, by the way, I did it up in Lake Ontario, too, when I was in law school. But look, one of the things that...
What, you saved a dude's life when you were in law school? You were still doing the lifeguard thing?
Yeah, lifeguards, I mean, people just need help sometimes. I mean, it's not like it's so heroic.
They'll make a big deal about me saving lives. All right? It's just what I do.
I mean, that is so... Okay, I was a lifeguard at a big pool. How does he remember how many lifeguard stands there were? First, it's just all made up. This is so phony baloney. And then he's acting like, acting humble. Like, oh, come on. It's just part of the job, man. It's what we do.
That's what Joe Biden does. Wherever he goes, he saves lives. He pulls people out of danger. Sometimes people need help. And when somebody needs help, I don the cape and I'm there. And, of course, when he wasn't saving lives
What was he
and
doing?
fending off the ladies, he was making America a more just place. This is a young man I'm talking about. When he essentially picked up the mantle. No, not picked up the mantle.
Excuse me.
This is a young man. He would have predated Martin Luther King. Before Martin Luther King, there was Joe Biden. And I'm not here to argue about who had more of an impact on ending government-imposed racial injustice in this country. That's for people like Joe Biden and scholars like Michael Beschloss to figure out.
And I looked at my mom. I said, honey, you haven't said anything. She said, Joey, remember? True story. She said, remember when they were desegregating Linfield, the neighborhood? There was, 70 homes built at one suburbia. And I told you, and there was a black family moving in, and there was people who were down there protesting. I told you not to go down there, and you went down. Remember that? And you got arrested by standing on the porch with a black family.
Right.
And they brought you back, the police. And I said, yeah, Mom, I remember that.
There's no record of that ever occurring.
He's some civil rights icon. I mean, he's been pushing that bull jive line. Like he was out there on the front lines in the civil rights movement. There's no record of any of that.
He lies about everything. He's done so for years. Most of those stories, I hadn't heard the he was a matinee idol in the 70s one before, but I've heard the others.
He's
and
hot.
and it just rolls off his tongue. He repeats them, and it doesn't matter how many times they've been publicly debunked. It doesn't matter how many presidential campaigns he's had to stop because of his stealing of information, basically his dishonesty, plagiarism stealing
right.
Neil Kinnock's speeches, for example. It just keeps going, and there's not the sort of pushback. Of course, they're not getting pushback from Howard Stern. He doesn't know anything, and to the extent he does, he's, a credulous rube. He was playing that role in service of Joe Biden in that interview. Howard Stern, he's such a great interviewer. Oh, yeah. That was real impressive.
That was embarrassing. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
There should be, you know what? They should come out with Joe Biden action figures.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
For the various stages of his life. The young man saving lives as a lifeguard.
With hair on his legs.
The standout football player.
We haven't heard.
Yeah, we've heard that. So second leading scorer in the state. There's a scrappy wide receiver. So maybe that those two combined. Football player. Obviously, he's a great student. He's number one in his class at this law school, and he was faculty at this law school. All these things are false, but it's what he says. You could just do these different action figures for all the stages.
Him in a classroom, you could have different, like Barbie Land. You can have Biden Land and put him in different situations. At a pool.
Well, and by the way, just on the whole, pandering for the black vote when he's not directly insulting them. You ain't black if you don't vote for Joe Biden. Actually, there was a fun shot that Colin Jost got in at the White House Correspondents' Dinner the next day. This is the Saturday Night Live fake news guy. He knows fake news purveyors when he sees them.
Like many of you here tonight, I pretend to do news on TV. My weekend update co-anchor, Michael Che, was going to join me here tonight, but in solidarity with President Biden, I decided to lose all my black support.
Oh, too soon. Oh, yeah. The boo-boos. Can you call them the birds?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Ooh.
That's not right.
At least we got one. At least we got one or two.
One. That was it, because Biden was horrible.
But of course, the big news in the Stern interview was the debate issue. You're going to debate Trump. And Howard Stern had some free debating advice for Joe Biden, which was worth exactly what it cost.
I would stand there on stage with Trump, and I would repeat over and over again, excuse me, please find me 11,000 votes so that I can win the election. I would just repeat that over and over again. And then I'd say to the audience, what are we debating? A man picked up the phone and wanted to say, fake the election, give me 11,000 votes. I don't know how any American who loves this country, that's the end of the debate. You don't get to run if you're going to fix an election.
Well, look, I think I said on January 6th, when they were storming the Capitol.
And a police officer died.
Yep. And he would say nothing. He was sitting in that office that dining area off the Oval Office for 3 hours and said nothing. I was supposed to make a speech on the economy that day. Instead, I made a speech from I was in Delaware on that issue because I was elected president, but I wasn't sworn in yet. The idea that we were actually not, it was derelict. It was almost criminal. He did nothing. He just sat there and watched what was happening. Not a single, and now he wants to he calls them patriots and victims, and says he's going to pardon them all if he's reelected.
How do some of the guys that you served in the Senate with, I'm talking about Republicans,
they don't.
How are they going along with this?
Well, I don't think, look, this is not your father's Republican Party.
No, it isn't.
This is, I had a lot of Republicans, including the old segregationists that I served with, who at least you could talk to, at least on matters relating to, they were totally wrong on civil rights. But the fact is that they understood there's a need for a consensus to run this country.
Yeah, at least you could talk to the old segregationists. By the way, they were in your party for the most part, not the Republican Party. But I digress. So Stern starts with the fictional version of the Raffensperger call, and that prompts Joe Biden to give his canned retort on January 6th. And none of what either one of them said is true. I just, the Raffensperger call is particularly unnerving to me because we have the transcript.
Right. Well, he didn't take the time to read the transcripts, obviously.
They have the find. All I need to do is find 11,000 votes. Find the 11,000 plus votes I need, and that's what everybody who is not fair-minded and is not able to critically think, has no intellectual curiosity, and just dislikes Trump, just repeats the same way that that drone Howard Stern did. You had election attorneys, by the way, who have not been indicted, who were on that call too. Were they party to it? I thought this was a conspiracy. So why hasn't Cleta Mitchell been indicted? She was on that call. Did you know that? Do we remember these things? It's important. It's important to push back on this because you're gonna if he's saying it on Stern. I mean, he's focused on January 6th, and Stern was on the Raffensperger call. But between Stern and Biden, you're getting a pretty good representative sample of what you're going to hear from leftist talking heads from now till November. And I just want to remind people of a portion of the transcript of the call that is not the audio clips, are not ubiquitous like the famous portion of the back and forth between Trump and Raffensperger, where he sort of inarticulately says, I just need you to find the votes. But this was after he had set up his case with a very specific distillation of why he thought there needed to be a reexamination of the count. And you can disagree, and you can say they couldn't produce any evidence. That's fine. But it wasn't go find the votes, go rig the election, go do something illegal, Brad Raffensperger. He said, this is from the transcript, as published in the Amazon Post. Trump saying to him, we've had hundreds of thousands of ballots that we're able to we'll get you a pretty accurate number. You don't need much of a number because the number in theory I lost by, the margin would be 11,779. But you have a substantial number of people, thousands and thousands, who went to the voting place on November 3rd, told they couldn't vote. They were told they couldn't vote because a ballot had been put on their name. And that's very, very, very sad. We had, I believe it's about 4,502 voters who voted but weren't on the voter registration list. So it's 4,502 who voted, but they weren't on the voter's registration roll, which they had to be. You had 18,325 vacant address voters. The address was vacant. They're not allowed to be counted. That's 18,325. Smaller number, you had 904 who only voted where they just had a PO, post office box, and they had a post office box number. That's not allowed. We had at least 18,000, and that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly. 18,000 voters having to do with some name. She's a vote scammer, professional vote scammer and hustler. That was the tape that's been shown all over the world that makes everybody look bad, you, me, and everybody else. So, I mean, there's just specific numbers. Obviously, he was briefed by campaign staff and lawyers or some combination of the two that he goes through. That's all in the run-up to that one phrase that he uses that is completely twisted beyond recognition if you don't look at the context and what everything else that was said in the call, which, of course, Howard Stern didn't and Joe Biden wouldn't.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The latest on the campus Huns at 6:06.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
A funeral today for a slain CPD officer, and the search is underway for the man wanted in that murder. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
It's a similar scene on college campuses across America. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Not a penny, not a dollar. Not a penny, not a dollar. No more money for Israel's slaughter.
That's the protest at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., with more arrests at another campus.
This happened this morning at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Police were seen removing pro-Palestinian protesters after threatening to arrest anybody who did not leave the school when school officials said they worried the situation would become unsafe.
That's Fox's Steve Ducey. At UCLA in California, pro- and anti-Israel demonstrators clashed in dual rallies. And now to New York City.
Over the weekend, the Columbia student protesters claimed that the university was about to come down hard on the students and the encampment, forcing Columbia to come out publicly to deny this, which led to reported celebrations from the anti-Israel protesters.
That's Fox's Brian Yennis. Launching airstrikes overnight on Rafah, Israelis killed at least 22 Palestinians, half of them women and children, as Israel prepares a ground offensive there to root out more Hamas militants. President Biden again urged Israel's leaders in a phone call yesterday that could lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. And also, Secretary of State Antony Blinken now in Saudi Arabia.
We strongly support Israel in its effort to ensure that what happened on October 7th never happens again.
However, the Secretary of State says they need a ceasefire.
We are determined to do everything we can to bring an end to the terrible human suffering that we're seeing every single day in Gaza.
This as the Iran-backed Houthi militants continue to target shipping in and around the Red Sea. The U.S. destroyed 5 more drones fired from Yemen. There is a lot of tornado devastation being cleaned up from Nebraska to Oklahoma. At least 4 people were killed in that state, including a baby. America's listening to Fox News.
Rain showers and 63 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Huesca will be held at the St. Rita Chapel in Chicago. Mourners gathered yesterday for a public visitation at the Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oak Lawn. Retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy was on hand.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that once again we are standing in this parking lot across the street from this funeral home. We're mourning the loss of another fallen hero.
Meantime, rewards totaling $100,000 are being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the man wanted for the murder of Huesca. A warrant was issued for the arrest of Xavier Tate, Jr. The law firm representing Mayor Tiffany Henyard in the village of Dalton in several lawsuits is asking to be withdrawn from those cases. The Delgado Law Group says it is not being paid, so it will stop appearing in federal and state court and defending Dalton and Henyard in 22 different lawsuits. While the Bears are trying to pitch city and state officials that building a state-of-the-art dome stadium along the lakefront is a good investment, the truth is coming out about the real cost. Ultimately, taxpayers will pay a hefty price for it, a lot more than what the Bears claimed last week. The Sun-Times has reviewed the numbers and says the cost of refinancing existing debt to be rolled into the fund, everything funded by taxpayers, pushes the cost to $7 billion. The Bears say now they will only kick in about $2 billion for the entire project. Northsiders lost to the Red Sox 5-4 at Fenway. The 17-11 Cubs take on the Mets tonight. White Sox doubled their win total over the weekend, sweeping the Rays with a 4-2 victory at guaranteed rate. They take on the Twins tonight. NHL playoffs. Rangers on to the second round. Wins for the Avalanche, Canucks, and Oilers. The news delivered by Quick Delivery Service. Ground delivery when you need it from safe, licensed professionals. Go to quickdelivery.com now to schedule your delivery. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum sees us reaping what we sow.
It is insane what America has endured during the Biden administration. Are you happy now? For everybody out there that hated Donald Trump and was talking all that trash about Donald Trump, he don't love man. He did a Russia collusion. He's a racist. I'm hoping that people are waking up and seeing the truth about what's happening.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Quick Delivery Service. What do you need delivered today?
Hi, I'm trying to work through a last-minute to-do list for my boss? Can you deliver a hard drive to the Loop in Chicago?
We can deliver that today.
Okay, can you deliver 20 boxes to a client in Rockford?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver 12 pallets of tile to our customer in Naperville?
We can deliver that today.
Can you deliver a large envelope to Northbrook?
We can deliver that today.
Oh my gosh, I think my water just broke. Can you...
We cannot deliver that.
Quick Delivery Service delivers your package no matter the size. More than just a messenger service, Quick Delivery Service is a messenger and trucking service that can also provide scheduled routes for your daily delivery or your air shipment. Trucks are equipped to handle the load and provide ground-level service for same-day delivery. The Quick Delivery Service team of safe, licensed professionals can provide quick door-to-door service for your special delivery. QuickDelivery.com. That's QuickDelivery.com. We deliver that today. But we don't deliver this.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Dr. Zhang. I'm a doctor of podiatric medicine.
My name is Todd. I'm a paramedic firefighter. I've been on the job for 28 years.
My name is Dr. Peter Munda. I'm a chiropractor in New York, Long Island.
I've been taking Balance of Nature for 23 years.
I love Balance of Nature, and this is definitely a product that I would recommend to other people, and I'll never stop taking it.
How many 70-year-old pictures you know? As far as Balance of Nature goes, I'll keep taking this stuff until the day I die, you know?
I'm almost 55 years old, and because I have so much vitality, I can really enjoy the great outdoors. Our bodies are kind of like machines. If you do not give the machine the proper nutrition, it's not going to work very well. Simple as that.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code Chicago.
6:08, let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of ReviveYourLawn.com. Soggy and muddy yard, pooling water, it's a constant battle until the experts at Revive Your Lawn get on the scene. Request your free drainage system consultation at ReviveYourLawn.com. Traveling on the Kennedy, tough sledding already for a Monday. 41 O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Kennedy outbound has flooding with 2 right lanes blocked near Central because of the heavy rain overnight. Tri-State accident, 3 right lanes blocked. Southbound on 294 right before 127th. Veterans has an accident southbound on 355 on the off-ramp to Butterfield Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Ruth O'Brien.
Breezy and warm today with a brief shower or two this morning, then times of sun and clouds this afternoon, high 74. Mainly clear, cooler tonight, low 50. Mostly sunny tomorrow, nice, high 73. More clouds than sun Wednesday, high 78. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, O'Hare light rain 63. Rain in Aurora 60. Rain in Waukegan 64. 60 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So AOC, member of the Spice Girls, front girl actually, she showed up to Columbia University to kibitz with her fellow pro-Hamas folk. She complimented what they were doing at Columbia University. See if you can pick up this.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming out here. It's great the support we're getting. People of different backgrounds and politics just here for the cause. And the leadership we have is so.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear because, they got the drum circle thing going on. But
they have a big party there.
But she complimented the leadership of the PIT protesters, pro-Islamist terrorist protesters at Columbia University, that include, actually, most notably, this dude named Kamani James, who has been dismissed from the school for reasons including publicly saying that Zionists don't deserve to live. Not to mention what he and others have engineered at Columbia. And it's interesting because there were some discussions inside the autonomous zone, the decolonization area at Columbia, that shows how organized this is. There was a Q&A session where you had one of the negotiators from the protesters, and that's how they were termed. The negotiators here to answer some questions, and then they have to get back to negotiations with the university. What's there to negotiate?
Well, don't negotiate with terrorists.
And the back and forth about so what's the protocol with the social media posts? Are you going to be sending out more communiques about what we should and shouldn't post? So the messaging and the division of labor, if you will, it's actually quite organized, at least at Columbia. And that's what AOC, I guess, came to compliment. But can you imagine a Republican, a conservative, coming to compliment the leadership of a pro-totalitarian crew like AOC did at Columbia? Because that's what they are.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. I just can't believe every campus is handling this differently. At Indiana University, 23 people arrested, after the third day of protest, and they're arresting them while they're trying to set up tents. Then you have UCLA, where all the cops are there, the LA cops were there, and then they were told to stand down. And so the encampment that they prevented from being built is now up and running.
It's being handled very similarly, actually, in most places. There's deference because that's our culture. There's deference to these campus Huns, and that's what they are. And so there are exceptions. I mean, you've probably seen now Georgia State Troopers at Emory.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit of a different story.
I loved it.
Picking a woman up and carrying her when she falls, she drops to the ground and plays dead, you're gonna have
hurting
to
me.
drag
You're
me.
hurting me.
Yeah, so you just picked her up. And then another guy who did like a very good form tackle, Wilbur Marshall quality on the campus there. So there's some, some of that in Texas and Georgia, but for the most part, there's deference. And even where there are arrests made, you immediately get release, and you get universities like Columbia saying nobody is going to be discharged from the school, I guess with the exception of the leader of the protesters, the pro-Islamist terrorist protesters. So in some places, you have to get the students into the act, where the administration won't act.
Oh, I love this.
A bunch of honky frat boys at ASU.
Look at these. Right. We've got the white frat boys throwing away protesters' belongings, and we've got the pigs in brown doing nothing about it, although we are being forced off campus. Pigs in brown.
See, what people don't know, fraternities are very philanthropic and community-based. So when, they saw that the officers needed help getting their junk, and I mean their junk, their tents, their sleeping bags out of their, main area, they would just jumped right in and helped and put the garbage in the truck.
Cal Poly, yeah, but again, there's deference in most places. Cal Poly Humboldt in California, they've done the same thing as Columbia. They've canceled the rest of the semester in terms of in-person instruction, indoctrination, whatever you prefer. And that was where you had these PIT protesters, pro-Islamist terrorist protesters, assaulting police officers. That's where that occurred. You've had arrests in other places. Jill Stein, actually, the Green Party candidate, got arrested in Washington University in
WashU.
Yeah, and this was again in scrums with police. You see a lot of scrums with police officers. Well, they're pigs, as you just heard from that delicate little flower at ASU.
At WashU, I got to tell this kid. I don't know if he's transitioning, but he has purple hair, and this is why he's out there and doesn't mind getting arrested, Dan.
There are people who don't have the choice on whether their life is risked over this or not. If all I have to risk is maybe sitting in a cell for a minute to help that, I will.
It's heroic. We saw the same thing at UIC. You had these protesters, pro-Islamist terrorist protesters, with reinforced banners and placards that were using them as weapons to push back against police. There was one arrest made at UIC. Of course, we know what's going on at Northwestern.
Well,
U of I, too. All over the Big Ten.
Students who refuse to remove their tents, Dan, will be subject to arrest, and their tents will be removed by the university. Not happening.
At ASU, they have some of the reporting was of the 69 people arrested, very few were students. And we know this. We know that this is organized and orchestrated, and it includes professional agitators that are underwritten by George Soros and other leftist, pro-chaos well-to-dos. The question is why? Soros and other elites are funding the campus agitators and stoking the anti-Semitic protests. Yeah, we know. So why would they do that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
At Northwestern last night, 100 counter-protesters, people in the community, all with their Jewish, with their Israeli flags, came and circled around the group that was glamping, and then they played the national anthem, and I'm telling you, I got the chills. All they're waving the Israeli and American flags. I know. I just thought it was wonderful to shove it in their faces. Like, we're American, and America supports Israel.
Yeah, it's the battle should be joined. There's no question. So why would there be such support? What? And by the way, this has been longstanding. So it's not just this moment. It's a continuation of supporting the Students for Justice and Palestine chapters all over the country, of seeding the BDS movement that, as we've talked about a number of times now, was present when I was at Northwestern back in the Stone Age, going on for a long time, a lot of the same financiers. So what's their end game? Maybe we're seeing their end game, or part of it. Mike, Southside, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Happy birthday, Dan. Hey, I just want to say that, okay, there's no such thing as shame with these blue-haired shims, but their parents are funding these knuckleheads. And if we can find Shia LaBeouf's flag just by geolocation, we can find every one of these parents and go ahead and shame them, because they're the ones who deserve the shame at this point for the never-ending party of destroying America. That's what I got.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Well, yeah, some of them are out protesting with the kids, as we heard from that father at USC last week. Also, this was bound to happen. Surprised it took as long as it did. We have the rage transference defense being advanced. A psychologist telling the New York Post, the protesters may feel angry for the pandemic taking away pivotal, highly anticipated experiences for them, for example, socialization in college and missing graduations. and thus they're using protesting as a way to release their anger. The COVID shutdowns have generated this pro-Palestinian rage.
Oh, really? That's a bit of a stretch.
I like that. But it's typical. I mean, the rioting in the summer of 2020 and the looting that was symbolic taking. That's black rage as a result of the legacy of slavery and so on and so forth. There's always the rage transference. You're always going to get that from the left, and so here it is. Try that when it's like, if you're a person who plays by the rules, try it's like some sort of inflation in the inability to pay my bills is to blame for my raging in one direction or another. Try that on. Maybe try that at your workplace and see how well that goes. See if anybody can make that fly at their workplace, what the kids are saying and what the adults are offering in their defense for both the kids and their deference to the kids.
Well, what about violating the civil rights of Jewish students? I mean, they're being threatened because of their religion. And here's a Jewish student at UCLA.
Do Jewish students feel safe?
Absolutely not. I think what's happening right now is making everyone feel extremely unsafe. We really do fear for our lives and the future.
I have a Jewish neighbor who said, you know what? They killed 1,500 of ours. We killed 30,000 of theirs. Enough already. I'm like, oh, really? Because when they come, they're not coming to my house. They're going to come to your house. If it gets to that.
Well, yeah, I don't. There's no magic numbers here. You're trying to neutralize a threat. Nobody said it was going to be 1 for 1. I mean, I don't know. People who do the body count as a proxy for understanding war just have no idea what they're talking about. They put no thought into it. Just make it stop. It's the same. It's just make it stop.
Yep.
It's just like violence on the streets of Chicago. I'm not going to do anything different, but just make it stop. Well, who do you want to make it stop? When you're not going to do anything different, when you're party to why it started and continues. No, just make it stop. I've had enough. Oh, okay. Well,
if
guess
you've
what?
had enough, then all right.
Guess what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to redraw those lines, Robert in Bloomingdale.
Good morning. I would just like to know, what is the just solution to this problem? Because for 75 years, this thing's been brewing and brewing. And I Googled the map of Israel, and if you look up a map of Ukraine or Mexico or any country, you could see a map. When it comes to Israel, does it even have a map?
Yeah.
Does it have a map and borders? Or
yes.
What is going on here? Because that makes no sense if you dig a little deeper into it. It makes no sense.
What is going on here is there is an illiberal, Islamo-fascist movement that manifests itself both through terrorist organizations and state sponsors of terror to wipe Israel and the Israelis off the map. And by the way, they have the same attitude about Jews that live in other countries too. That's what's going on here.
And you know
what's going on here is Islamo supremacy. What's confusing about that?
Got a text message, Dan and Amy. Where's the Jewish leadership? Schumer, Raskin, Nadler, Schiff, Schneider, Schakowsky. Jan, that's her district, isn't it?
They got to middle the issue to keep their solidarity and marginalization coalition together for November, of course, just like Biden does, which is why they're muted, which is why Schumer called for new elections in Israel because it's time for Bibi to go, and which is why they, on the one hand, support Israel and the Iron Dome and vote for the aid. On the other hand, Bibi's got to go. They have to send messages to both camps to stick with us because it's about domestic politics for them, not about what's right for mankind. What else is new?
And you know who's loving this? Hamas.
There was a different approach, by the way, taken once upon a time to civil unrest on college campuses in his state at that time. The state was California. The time period was the 60s. The governor was Ronald Reagan. I always tell the story about Ronald Reagan being protested on a college campus by these the campus Huns of his day. We're your future, we're your future. And then he writes on a legal pad, if you're my future, I'm selling my bonds. The quips, but people forget Reagan as governor. Reagan as governor wasn't sort of the genteel grandfather type that he sort of became known as, of course, through his presidency. He was a little bit more pointed. He was not afraid to throw some rhetorical haymakers and speak with moral clarity in a pointed fashion about campus violence, the same way he later spoke about the evil empire with moral clarity. Take a listen to this nice compilation of Ronald Reagan. This is what governors and university presidents could be doing. I mean, they are in states like Texas, but not states that are run by the other side, right?
Those people told you for days in advance that if the university sought to go ahead with that construction, they were going to physically destroy the university. Why did you
negotiate many times?
Negotiate? What is to negotiate? What is...
The university is a public institution.
That's right. But the university...
For its own community and for the community of Berkeley that live around it.
All of it began the first time some of you who know better and are old enough to know better let young people think that they had the right to choose the laws they would obey as long as they were doing it in the name of social protest.
I'm sick and tired of the argument about whether some effort to enforce law and order is going to escalate anything at all. Plain truth of the matter is this has to stop, and it has to stop like the day before yesterday.
I would like to propose that the issue is that on the campuses, you who are adults, you who are entrusted with those young people and their guidance, have a responsibility to make it plain to them from the very beginning that you yourselves do not tolerate the kind of conduct that has led to the burning of Wheeler Hall, that has led to 2 murders on the campus of UCLA.
You created an atmosphere on the campus where no one wants to listen.
You are a liar.
I have read and I have been questioned since I've been here about certain demonstrations against my coming. And I would like to say just one thing, and to those who demonstrate so. I wonder if they have ever asked themselves that if they should have the kind of government they apparently seek, no one would ever be able to do what they're doing again.
Wow, that gave me the chills.
Sort of like our lead-in to Frank from Arlington Heights is Tuesday In-Depth History with Frank from Arlington Heights. Nothing new in this world, just the history you don't know. I think as we talked about with Professor Jacobson from Cornell, this is different than the 60s. It's much more severe. It's much more dangerous. It's not anti-war protests and civil rights protests. And even if the cause was more just back then, which it was, it doesn't legitimize lawlessness, as Reagan, that was the point that Reagan was making, obviously. But nothing new. And frankly, what was tolerated, what Reagan was railing against, college presidents of that era, tolerating, appeasing, deferring to, sowed the seeds that we're bearing today. George in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, Dan, I wonder if any of these students protesting had to read the diary of Anne Frank. And also, I'd like to thank you for all the hard work you did during that governor's race in Illinois. You made a lot of people have hope. It didn't happen, but I thank you.
Thanks for the call, George. Diary of Anne Frank. How about the late great Elie Wiesel's Night? Did you still read that in high school? I did. Everyone should.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of You Store It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you're an experienced homeowner who's outlived their assets or can no longer afford to pay your parents' housing and medical expenses, you need to call Team Hochberg about a reverse mortgage. Tammy, 73, retired, Social Security income $2,100 a month, living in a $300,000 River Grove home she owned free and clear. Tammy's real estate taxes doubled and had no way of paying off her credit card debt totaling over $90,000. Team Hochberg helped Tammy secure a reverse mortgage, pay her real estate taxes, and over 60% of her credit card debt, which saved her almost 24 G's a year. Let's review. Team Hochberg helped Tammy secure a reverse mortgage to pay her real estate taxes, most of her debt, and increased her cash flow almost $2,000 a month. If you're interested in learning more about reverse mortgages, call Team Hochberg now at 855-563-2843 or visit our website 56david.com. 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. Lower.com, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, and by the way, thanks to George for his, compliment to me. I didn't mention when we were talking about my impending sentencing to State Board of Elections prison.
Your hearing that starts today.
Yeah. The firm representing Jelly Belly in the State Democrat Socialist Party in Illinois, you'll love this.
Say it loud.
It's Mark Elias's law firm, the Steele Dossier guy, the guy that's engaged in lawfare at the state level on behalf of the Democrat Socialists against Republicans all over the place, the guy that is suborning, a relaxation of ballot integrity laws, so on and so forth. Of course he is. But of course he is. Jelly Belly, of course. Of course it's this guy. Of course it's the Democrats guy here. How couldn't it be? So it's fun. It's fun to go up against him.
Is it open to the public, this hearing? I mean, can I come in? I have a media pass.
I suppose. I don't know. Sure, come on in. I'm fine with it.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We got another one of these. These are always fun. When a elected official is faced with having to live by the same laws as the rest of the hoi polloi, all of us little people. A state's attorney in Monroe County, the state's attorney from Monroe County, New York, gets pulled over for speeding. Except she didn't get pulled over because she didn't stop. 6:36.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
6:33. Rain showers and cloudy skies. Police in Kenya just moments ago say at least 42 have been killed after a dam collapsed in that country's west. Floodwaters swept through the houses, cutting off a major road. The old Kajabi Dam is located in the Great Rift Valley region. It's very prone to flash flooding. Chicago Police Officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Huesca will be held at the St. Rita Chapel. Mourners gathered yesterday at the Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oak Lawn. Retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy led the mourners.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that once again we are standing in this parking lot across the street from this funeral home. We're mourning the loss of another fallen hero.
Meantime, rewards totaling $100,000 are being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the man wanted for the murder of Huesca. A warrant was issued for the arrest of Xavier Tate, Jr. A North Suburban carnival did not reopen on Sunday after fights broke out there on Saturday. Carnival event leaders say it became overcrowded on Saturday evening, and a significant number of unchaperoned teens were disruptive and caused trouble and began fighting. Police forced to break up that crowd. A law firm representing Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the village of Dalton in several lawsuits is now asking to be withdrawn from those cases. The Delgado Law Group says it's not being paid, so it will stop appearing in federal and state court defending Dalton and Henyard in 22 different lawsuits. Cubs lost to Boston 5-4 at Fenway. In other team news, Jordan Wicks was placed on the 15-day injured list. White Sox doubled their win total over the weekend. They swept out the Rays with a 4-2 win at guaranteed rate. Garrett Crochet on the mound tonight against the Twins. NBA playoffs, Timberwolves punched their ticket to the Western Conference semis. Also wins for the Knicks, Pacers, and Clippers. And the news is a service of ExpressPros.com. Let Express employment professionals help you. Express is already hiring for summer jobs in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to ExpressPros.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees Trump dead on.
The world's on fire, and we have this idiot in the White House to blame. Now, normally a talk show host says things like that, not the Republican nominee for president. But it's where we are, and this is what the left doesn't get, and the Trump haters never recognize. Millions of Americans relate to this and say, you're right, you're right, you're right.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
You have to feel good. When you feel good, you look good, and when you look good, things happen. My name's Gary. I exercise almost every day. I'm more active than the average 71-year-old man. I started taking Balance of Nature, and I can feel the benefits from it. It's been a little bit of a revolutionary product. I stand behind the product. I stand behind what I say. Balance of Nature, it's a great product for me.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
You can host the best backyard barbecue. You find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hello, I'm Donna Jeske.
And I'm Paul Jeske.
We're family farmers raising corn and soybeans in Grundy County, Illinois.
It might be hard to believe, but 96% of the farms in Illinois are owned and operated by family farmers just like us.
Our job is to grow the healthiest, most affordable food around to feed our family and yours.
Meet more farmers like us at www.watchusgrow.org/corn.
A message from the Illinois Corn Marketing Board.
When the storms hit Chicagoland this spring and your home or business has water damage, ProTech Restoration is ready 24/7. The certified team at ProTech Restoration will be there quickly and work directly with your insurance. But even in between the storms, if you come across water in your basement, bathroom, or kitchen due to leaking pipes, an appliance breakdown, or sump pump failure, know that ProTech Restoration has seen it all and knows what to do. They are a leading Chicagoland emergency water damage cleanup, repair, and restoration company, offering 24-hour rapid response. They'll clean up, extract, repair, even do a total build back. Search online for ProTech Restoration in Elk Grove Village and check out their Google reviews. To get your free on-site evaluation and estimate, visit protechwaterdamage.com. That's ProTech waterdamage.com. Servicing the entire Chicagoland. ProTech Restoration. Experience, transparency, trust. ProTechWaterDamage.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
6:40 Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. Tough sledding on the Edens already this morning, 33 into the junction from Lake Cook Road. 70 in on the Kennedy from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Traveling on the Ike, you're jammed up Wolf Road to Des Plaines Avenue. Already, it's 1 hour from 390 into the old post office. Dan Ryan, 26 in, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. You're jammed up inbound in the locals between the Skyway and 51st. I-57 accident between Sibley and the Calsag Channel. Left lane blocked due to an accident. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, an accident southbound right at Irving Park Road. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In your YourLawn.com Weather Center, morning showers, afternoon clouds and sun will top out at 74. Clearing cooler overnight, a low of 50. Rain and 61 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Meet Monroe County, New York District Attorney Sandra Dorley.
She likes to party. Woo!
She's a Democrat who switched to the GOP. And she was doing 55 and a 35, as you'll hear. She conceded she was.
Right.
So she was stopped by local police. She wasn't happy about it.
No,
So she didn't stop. She just drove home. And that's when this exchange occurred between her and the officer who attempted to stop her for speeding.
Sorry, I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Okay.
So you
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Ooh,
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
Can you please tell him to leave me alone? It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a traffic. This is a legal traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
No, it's in my purse. Here.
You have your purse right there.
No, this is my lunch. Would you talk to Dennis? This is ridiculous. Just go away.
Hello, sir.
Go away. Go away.
Good, ma'am. Can you please stay at the back? This is legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
No. Hey, baby, get your little guy out of here.
Sir, I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
On Phillips Road.
And she failed to stop. She drove all the way back home and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
Oh my God.
Let me get something to eat.
You're annoying me.
Yep. All right. Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone back.
I understand the law better than you. Would you just
953. Can you have a supervisor come to the scene?
No. Get out of my house.
I don't know why you're acting like this towards me.
Because
Can you please go to the back of the vehicle?
I'm not going to. I'm home. Okay, 55.
I don't care if you got home. You were supposed to stop at Phillips Road when I pulled you over. When my lights were
I
initiated.
didn't know you were stopping me. There was lots of other people on the road.
I was right behind you.
Yeah? There were other people on the road too.
Okay, I was directly behind you.
I'm not dealing with you right now.
Can you please step over here?
I'm not going to.
What is the reason you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my job. You say you're a DA?
I am the DA.
The DA.
Okay, let me get you my
The
badge.
Ohio State.
I am the DA of Monroe County.
I just don't understand the hostility towards me. I'm doing my job.
No, you're being.
How am I being an
I am the DA of Monroe County.
I understand
Yes,
that, but
I'm
that doesn't
coming
give
home
you
from
a
work,
right
and
to
I
go
was the-
55 and a 35. And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I
don't
understand
really
that,
care.
ma'am.
I don't really care.
understand that.
You know what? If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it, okay? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just don't understand the hostility.
I don't-
I understand
no,
you're
I
coming home from
understand why you're
work.
making-
No, not
And
remorseful.
half the time I was on the phone with Dennis, telling him, why are you pulling me over?
You're not even supposed to be on the phone to begin with. You
Oh,
should
yes.
know that.
On hands-free? Absolutely.
Okay.
You should know the law.
Okay? If it is hands-free, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're going 55 and a 35. That's 20 miles over the speed limit.
Okay.
My question is, why didn't you just taser? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text
Well,
line.
she looks like googly-eyed and like she's on something. She said she had a long day. She had 3 murder trials that day, Dan.
So
So
what?
she was very exhausted. Oh, I have no sympathy for this woman at all.
That boy, it's
her
just
excuses were just unbelievable.
It's just delightful when that ruling class mentality presents itself, doesn't it? Who wants to try to get away with that routine if they get pulled over, by since no, that doesn't happen in the city really much anymore because they're opposed to traffic stops. You get pulled over in the suburbs and you go into that routine that you heard from the suburban DA in New York. So anyway, supervisor was called. You heard the officer call him.
Yeah.
She said she was on the phone with him. Well, let's get the exciting conclusion of the story. Will the supervisor, will he back the play of his officer? Or will he back the play of the prosecutor?
Let's find out.
With whom the police department works. What's the politics of this? How is this going to work?
Hi.
Hi. I'll talk to Jeff. Jeff.
Okay.
I was just on the phone with the chief.
Okay. I'm the supervisor with her now, so.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't want to pull over on Phillips Road. It was just, I figured I'd just pull into my driveway.
Okay. Well,
And I called Dennis and I said,
okay.
That's me that they're trying to stop.
Okay.
So
But-
that's the end of the
She can't
story.
be stopped.
Okay. But you should know better, right?
I was speeding. I know that.
Okay. So why didn't you just stop like you're supposed to?
Because I didn't feel like stopping on Phillips
Well,
Road at
that's
5:30.
not your choice. You know that.
Well, I made it my choice.
Okay. Well, now you made it a bigger deal than it needed to be.
It's a really bigger deal. And when people start coming, it's a much bigger deal.
Well, you caused that, Sandra. Well, what do you want us to do? Not do our job because it's you?
No, it's fine. I said, write me a ticket. But I was just saying, I was
lock
not
her
going to
up.
stop on Phillips Road at 5:30.
Okay. Well, you broke another law because of that, right?
So
And you should know
So
better.
they write me a traffic ticket.
That's not a traffic ticket. That's an arrestable offense, Sandra. You know this. Why would you not just pull over? You made it a bigger deal than it needed to be. And you knew why you were getting stopped, clearly.
Clearly.
He could have stopped you, had a conversation with you, and been done with it. But now you made it this whole big deal.
Clearly.
For no reason. Did you provide him your license and registration?
Yeah.
Okay. You have her ID?
I gave it back to her. It's attached to the job and everything.
I didn't want to stop at Phillips Road. I was
Okay.
right down the street. I figured I will just stop in my driveway. That's what I figured. I thought it would be easier. Apparently I was wrong.
Yeah, well, that was not the right choice.
You didn't think it would be easier, counselor.
No.
You just said I did it because I felt like it, not because it was easier for her or the police. I felt like it. No, and the whole write me a ticket. I said you write me a ticket. You said write me a ticket. I'm the one who prosecutes it. What am I going to do? Prosecute myself? Okay.
Text messages. Murder cases is code for margaritas. And why these people do not just take the medicine is just amazing. One quick ticket and move on. Stupid people.
Because there are betters. And that's how they think of themselves. All I do for you people, and I have to live under the same laws as you do, that doesn't seem right.
She was too busy releasing repeat violent offenders, Dan and Amy, without bail.
Jay in Lowell, Indiana.
Yeah, I got an idea. As being an ex-police officer, why didn't he arrest her for fleeing and eluding? That's what he should have done. I'm not putting him down, but that's what That's what should have been done to her.
Totally agree. Thanks for the call, Jay. 100%. When the supervisor came and said, as you just heard him, not complying with an officer's effective command to pull over is an arrestable offense, and so you're going to get arrested right now. officer put her in handcuffs and take her to the station. That's exactly what should have happened. You want to send a message to somebody who's got a bit of a ruling class attitude that needs adjusting? Do so under the law. Sandra Dorley. And here again, it's the same admonition we have for her that we have when we talk about all these police-involved shootings. I don't care if it's a honky Republican, although it seems like she's still clinging to some of her Democrat attitudes, or a minority in an urban center. It's the behavior. It is not the profile. Simple. Doesn't it make life so much simpler?
Now this morning, Governor Kathy Hochul is getting a state commission task force to look into the incident.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Great. Look into the incident. What's there to look into?
I know. It's
all been conceded
Call
by
him an
both
a-hole,
parties.
Dial the local police chief to complain.
I mean, you have the state's attorney saying what happened and the police agreeing with her. What's there to investigate? Kevin in Austin, Texas.
It also goes to poor judgment. All she had to do was pull over when she got pulled over, flash her badge, and say, "Hey, I'm the one who prosecuted." Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens all the time, I'm sure, in Cook County, if a state's attorney gets pulled over. Oh, sorry. Go right ahead. Have a good rest of the day. Poor judgment. And these people are prosecuting. Mm-hmm. What kind of judgment do they have when they do that? It was just stupid.
Thanks for the call, Kevin. That's what Amy does when you get pulled over. It's like, boom.
Badge. Media press credential.
Exactly. Right.
No,
yeah.
I don't do that.
Girls of Iowa, girls of the Big Ten calendar, bang.
And sir, if you don't like this one, I have one from the year before. Oh. Works every time, Dan. Boom.
It is reminiscent of one of our other favorite elected official police stops in the history of elected officials being pulled over by police for simple traffic violations.
This is the best ever.
The town of Ulster, New York. It's New York again. Imagine New York having a problem with ruling class politicians.
The high and mighty.
County legislator named Jennifer Schwartz Berkey. She got pulled over, and then this happened.
You know, I work for the county, Ulster County government. I'm a county legislator. I'm going to meet the consulate right now at the Maritime Museum.
Okay.
I don't. Oh, you're not going to give me a ticket, are you?
I haven't decided yet.
I'm a completely broke public servant.
Okay. I mean, I haven't decided yet. I'm just looking for the documents.
Well, here's my card.
Okay.
At least she pulled
I'm
over.
I'm going to be late for the consulate.
It's okay. It's no reason to cry.
Well, no, it's my job, counseling.
Okay. Just a driver's license.
Waterworks.
And do you have the registration to the vehicle? You can have your card back there.
I hope I do. And then I have to go to the Ulster County SUNY Ulster graduation.
Okay.
And now I'm supposed to go home and pick up my son to go to these parties.
Okay.
Please don't give me a ticket. I'm broke. I'm completely broke.
Okay, if you just have
and if you tell people, it's going to hurt me.
Okay, well, I don't know.
I'm totally broke. I made $20,000 last year.
Okay.
Please don't give me a ticket.
Let me see your tax return.
I can't afford to change my insurance. Please.
Okay, if you could just try to find the registration for me, I appreciate it.
No, I want license, registration, insurance, and tax returns.
Oh, but it gets better.
Sorry, I'm having a panic attack.
You need medical attention? Would you like me to call you an ambulance?
I can't.
Okay, if you want to sit down, I can explain this to you, okay?
You're going to give me a ticket. I'm going to take it to the court because I have...
Ma'am, you have to calm down.
I have PTSD. I'm going to protest this in court, and you're telling me that you singled me out. That's what you're telling me, right? And then everyone was going at the same pace, right? I drive on that road at 30 miles an hour all the time.
Are you going to listen to me, or
yes,
you?
I will listen to you, and you're not going to let me go, even though I'm a county legislator. And I always do everything right, and I follow the law, and I was at the same pace as every other car.
Not always.
Ma'am, you're going to let me explain this to you here?
Yes, but I am also going to record our conversation.
Okay, it's being recorded. We have video right here, and the whole conversation is being recorded here, too, okay? You're more than welcome to record it, okay? All right.
You don't have to record it. I'm recording because I can't wait to show all the guys back at the station.
He's so calm and collected. Ma'am, do you need medical attention?
Oh, that's.
Ma'am, can you? I can explain this to you.
Just remember. By the way, Jennifer Berkey Schwartz.
Oh.
She lost her reelection as a county legislator.
Oh no.
After that incident, but just barely. But between Berkey and Sandra Durley, yeah, just remember that when you hear people sort of being deferential to their elected officials. These are our betters. We have such great representation. I mean, there are just so many examples of this, but those are two of the better ones, I got to say, particularly since one was on the law enforcement side, the criminal justice system side, the district attorney. It's good stuff.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. The Biden administration released a new and extensive set of rules that expand Title IX's prohibition of sex-based discrimination to include gender identity. The rules destroy protections for sex-based accommodations in the American educational system. Under the new rules, it will constitute unlawful discrimination to keep biological men who identify as women out of previously all-female spaces. This includes bathrooms, locker rooms, sororities, and athletic events. The ironies are breathtaking. President Biden complains about the mythical gender-based wage gap, but these rules take away something much more precious than a few cents in a paycheck. Congress passed Title IX to provide women with opportunities. The Biden administration's new interpretation of it jeopardizes their chance to compete on a level playing field and have access to safe and private spaces. The rules are a travesty that hurts all women. I'm Carol Platt-Liebau.
All right, choosing where to send your kids to school is one of the most important decisions we make as parents. Even as this school year is coming to an end, you might be thinking about where to send your kids to school in the fall. And you need to know that private school might be an option for you and your family thanks to our friends at halfpriceschools.com. Guess what? At halfpriceschools.com, you can find many different private schools from around the Chicagoland area offering a full year of tuition for half the normal price. You can take advantage of this great opportunity. It's real simple. Find a private school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools across the Chicagoland area, including Ravenswood Christian School in Chicago, Christian Liberty in Arlington Heights, St. Peter Lutheran in Schaumburg. The list goes on, but don't delay. Next school year will be here before you know it. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Hello, my name is Jim. I'm a very outdoors, active type person. With Balance of Nature, it sure has helped me feel really good every day. The fruits and vegetable ingredients, I think, is the whole foundation of what makes the product so good for me. I'm looking at the future, and I do not want to stop doing what I'm enjoying. With the product, I know I'll be able to continue it. I feel great. Can't complain about anything.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
I just got a text from Joe Remke, Remke's Garage. You got people misaging me now because you said I'm 55. I'm not 55.
No, you're 50. Are you 52 or 53?
That's for me to know and you to find out.
72 or 73, what year were you born? Then I can figure it out real quick. Don't make me call Larry, because I will.
That'd be impressive if you could do that math. 707, Steve Bucci on the Middle East, 707.
But now into the newsroom we go. Mike, how old is Dan?
52. Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. And a North Suburban carnival did not reopen. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
Death and destruction in Oklahoma. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
See it on TV, other places, and you feel bad for those people, but you really don't know it till it's you, till it hits you.
And many other home and business owners don't have much left in the city of Sulphur, one of several areas twisted apart by weekend tornadoes. Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell's there.
Where we are, at least one person was killed in a bar with several people also trapped inside. 2 more lives were taken in Holdenville, one being a 4-month-old baby, and a 4th person killed on I-35 near Marietta. The damage spans across 12 counties here in Oklahoma.
There's also a death amid the storm damage in Iowa. Parts of Nebraska also have tornado destruction. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's in Saudi Arabia before another trip to Israel for talks.
The only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas.
This after Israel hit Rafah with airstrikes, killing at least 22 Palestinians ahead of a planned ground invasion going after Hamas militants. But Blinken hopes that doesn't happen.
In the absence of a plan to ensure that civilians will not be harmed, we can't support a major military operation in Rafah.
This is the anti-Israel protests rage on American college campuses. That's at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Police made arrests this morning at Virginia Tech, and 4 police officers were injured at demonstrations in New Orleans in California.
A pro-Israel rally went off as scheduled here at UCLA, but it was met with counter-protesters who came to demonstrate in support of an ongoing pro-Palestinian encampment on campus. Eventually, some, quote, physical altercations broke out after one of the groups breached a barrier designed to keep the 2 protests separate.
Fox's Christina Coleman. Former President Trump posted on Truth Social this morning, "Stop the protests." A new CNN poll gives him a 6-point lead over President Biden, a 9-point Trump edge, factoring in independent candidates. America's listening to Fox News.
7:02, cloudy skies, rain showers. And topping our news this morning, Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Huesca will be at the St. Rita Chapel in Chicago, while mourners gathered yesterday at the Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oak Lawn. Mourners were led by retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy.
This is senseless. This is needless. There is no reason for this. This has to stop.
Meantime, rewards of up to $100,000 are being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Xavier Tate, Jr. While some anti-Semitic, pro-Palestinian, and pro-Hamas terrorist protests continue on the campus of Northwestern University.
We need to raise voices because our families are being killed. Our families are being killed. We're not being able to live.
Yesterday marked the first time they were met by pro-Israel and anti-Hamas counter-protesters.
No dialogue at all. All we got was free Palestine, Jews for Palestine, but nobody wants to engage in a conversation.
The two sides did clash for a time, but remained mostly peaceful. A Gages Lake man is facing several charges after allegedly slashing another man's stomach open during an argument Saturday. Lake County Sheriff's detectives say 23-year-old Anthony Osmina has been charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and other charges. Charges stem from an incident that left a 24-year-old Round Lake Beach man critically injured. As legislators return for the final weeks of session in Springfield, the budget will be top of mind, and as will tax credits. At a recent Senate Revenue Committee, a tax credit for the music industry was discussed by State Senator Sarah Feigenholt.
This sort of sector of musicians really suffered and is still lagging in their recovery. So I'm hoping that this tax credit bill is going to incentivize more live music, music education.
However, one expired tax credit that still lingers is the Invest in Kids tax credit. Grandparent to 2 recipients, Darnell Starks, was on hand in Springfield.
We are people of faith, and so we're just praying that God makes a way somehow. But right now, we don't know how it will happen.
Legislators are scheduled to adjourn in Springfield May 24. Cubs lost to the Red Sox 5-4 at Fenway Park. 17-11 Cubs will send Jamison Taillon to the hill against the Mets later tonight. The White Sox swept out the Rays with a 4-2 win at guaranteed rate. Garrett Crochet goes up against the Twins tonight. The news, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. And a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum wants more people to step up.
I just really wish more people like me would speak out more and be more confident about it. I know a lot of black people that think just like me, but man, they just won't say. They will never tell anybody. It's not conducive for them. But if only more black men knew that other black men agree with them and that they're not isolated and they're alone in their thoughts of saying, something ain't right here.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Our goal is to provide patients with the strongest, most effective, and safest options in this exciting field of regenerative medicine.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
The idea that you can avoid a joint replacement is very exciting.
And that's from a surgeon who's done thousands of joint replacements, but who now believes there's a better way.
Regenerative medicine, as we understand it today, gives lasting pain relief, improved function, without surgery, without drugs.
Under Dr. Scheinkup's leadership, QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients every day with the most advanced protocols in natural biologics. Literally tens of thousands of people all over America.
I've been doing research on regenerative medicine for 2 decades. This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Hello, my name is Jim. I'm a very outdoors, active type person. With Balance of Nature, it sure has helped me feel really good every day. The fruits and vegetable ingredients, I think, is the whole foundation of what makes the product so good for me. I'm looking at the future, and I do not want to stop doing what I'm enjoying. With the product, I know I'll be able to continue it. I feel great. I can't complain about anything.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code
Chicago. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost.
Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
7:09, let's get an update on the roads. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, Kennedy in, 90 minutes, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Stevenson in right now, it's 1 hour, 3:55 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbound side, accident reported between First Avenue and the Tri-State. 2 vehicles involved, one on the shoulder, one in the grass. Emergency equipment on the scene. Dan Ryan in, 31 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Accident on the Tri-State northbound near the Lincoln Oasis and northbound just south of 159. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, here's Ruth O'Brien.
For today, breezy, warm with a brief shower or two this morning, then sun and clouds this afternoon, high 74. Mainly clear, cooler tonight, low 50. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 73. And more clouds, then sun on Wednesday, high 78. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 61 degrees. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The business of grooming kids in K through 12. This was posted. Libs of TikTok picking this up. Dateline Chicago for Libs of TikTok. CPS Q&A, or like FAQ essentially, with respect to CPS curriculum, a training on the LGBTQ2SIA++++. Parents are allowed to opt their child out of sex education topics, as well as are allowed to opt their child out of LGBTQ+ topics that are covered in other subjects, classes, or activities. True or false? That's false.
It is false. It used to be true, but they changed it.
Yeah. No, that's false.
So now you can't, yeah.
That's false. So when the dudes, the scantily clad dudes, come in to gyrate and shake their junk around in front of the kids, your kid's going to have to participate, for example. Not to mention the wall-to-wall indoctrination that occurs throughout the school day in advance of LGBTQ++++++++. And so, why not? Why not go the way of Downers Grove? The Downers Grove Public Library. We had that little issue with the Library Board of Trustees we talked about over the last 10 days or so.
Yeah, they had a special session, and he's been bounced.
And the cast, well, the one of the trustees by the village board, of course, we talked about. And that just pay no attention to the CAS report coming out of the National Health Service in Britain. Certainly the majority of the board in the village of Downers Grove won't. You expect this stuff, I guess, in CPS. And Downers Grove Public Library has announced storytime and craft-making events in June that will teach the virtues of homosexuality to children aged 2 to 6. Pride Storytime, it's right here. Pride Storytime, ages 2 to 6, Friday, June 14th. Mark your calendars. Join us for a librarian-led family storytime filled with picture books, stories, and songs that celebrate Pride Month. Right. Maybe they'll work in some anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas business, too, like that a drag queen story hour in Amherst, Massachusetts we brought you.
Yeah, with a pro-Palestinian drag queen who would get thrown off a building if he did dare step foot in Gaza.
Swapna Jagani runs the Downers Grove Public Library. Just naming names here. And this Pride Storytime ages 2 to 6, that's in the kids program room at the library. Of course it is. The Downers Grove Public Library has a wall of fame that features notable homosexuals from history. And Bill Neinberg won't be there to offer any objections because he's the trustee that was removed for daring to oppose all of this Rainbow Reich indoctrination going on at the library. Now, of course, this is voluntary, so this has to be parents bringing their toddlers to this program, but they will.
Oh,
it'll fill up.
They will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You could text us at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
I mean, you can have what, I mean, I shouldn't say you can have whatever event you want, but you can promote whatever viewpoint you want. But, maybe on behalf of the deposed Bill Neinberg, shouldn't those residents of Downers Grove who attended the meetings, maybe those who felt similarly but didn't attend, on behalf of Neinberg, to oppose his impeachment, if you will, by the Downers Grove Village Board, shouldn't they be at the source of the problem, the institution that they finance, and say, what are we doing here? And I want counter-programming.
Oh.
Just the same way we've always talked about is you can have your program if you want, and if parents want to engage in this sort of intellectual debauchery, then I suppose they're entitled to do that. But we want alternative programming. Why does everybody have to genuflect before the one-size-fits-all pride programming at the Downers Grove Library or anywhere else? The whole culture of deference that we keep talking about, it's easy to talk about when you see the sort of ignorance on display on college campuses. And you hear people saying the sort of ridiculous, intemperate things that they are saying. But what about when it's just an event that you're not going to? I mean, this is how these groups and their acolytes insinuate themselves into these institutions, take control of the institutions, and then take control of the community. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Isn't that what's happened? Or is there some other explanation? How did Downers Grove get to this place, for example? Anybody have any thoughts? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I mean, did Chicagoans all move to Downers Grove and Glen Ellen and Hinsdale? And, I mean, the list goes on and on. Because when you were growing up, DuPage County, when I was growing up, DuPage County was still strong.
Growing
Republican.
up 5 minutes ago. I mean, this is all gone over the edge in the last decade. Now, I understand there were decisions that were being made that started to push these communities to the edge that it has now gone over. But in terms of the domination by cultural Marxists in representative bodies of government in DuPage County, for example, including Downers Grove, that's relatively recent. So anybody want to hazard another explanation? By the way, this is happening, these sorts of events, not just Downers Grove, Mount Prospect.
Uh-oh. You talking about my hometown, Mount Prospect? Yeah. Because that was
They're building on the nudist colony that you were raised in.
No, I did live in a home that was previously owned by a nudist, yes.
We got this email from, I guess, a Mount Prospectian. Under youth events, the library will have a family pride party for ages 3 to 12 and their families with all sorts of activities. The teen events include Pride Reads for teens, along with a craft activity. Then we have Pride Story Time for ages 2 to 5. Oh, just like Downers Grove. Of course, the adults can... the adults will be there. They'll be treated to a discussion by UIC professor entitled Making Change, A History of LGBTQ Activism. Uh-huh. Yeah. But it's not happening where you live, or you're not paying attention, or you don't care, or you don't know what to do? Jack in Northwest Indiana, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey guys, I actually resided in Downers Grove from '93 until a few years ago, and I saw the change. I saw the change occurring election by election. When I moved in, very red, very consistently Republican, and over time, what I saw happen, I actually worked in the city as well, so I saw the younger folks. They migrate from various universities. They live in various neighborhoods in the city. They meet their partner. They move out to the burbs, Downers being one of them. Their attitude's completely different. So this is really not surprising because there are a bunch of 30-somethings. Many of them I still stay in contact with, and I know what their politics are. And this is just acceptable. It's tolerant, and there's a reason why DuPage has turned blue. And I was shocked when it happened because I wasn't paying attention, but it's turning bluer every day. And it's the attitudes of the younger folks coming in, having kids, and see nothing wrong with exposing their 5-year-old to these alternative lifestyles. So it's going to happen, and no one will object because the voters and those living in those neighborhoods actually enjoy this. And that's just the tragedy of it, and one of the reasons why I bailed.
Thanks for the call, Jack.
Got a bunch of text messages. Dan and Amy, is there going to be a Bible story hour?
Yeah, right.
For 2 to 6 year olds?
Right. Well, that's my point. Why not propose that? See what the reaction is. I'm sure you'll hear church and state arguments or some other specious response from the library.
Got another one. In the spirit of equal time, the library board is going to host Kirk Cameron's next book tour.
Yeah, right. Right. Or
Those are good ideas.
yeah, I mean there are other the Tuttle Twins books. Yeah, do that. Who wants to host that? I mean, there needs, alternative programming is the way to go. You can't just protest this intellectual debauchery. You should. But you can't just do that. You have to push them to expand the universe of content, because that's what they're trying to do, is to constrict it and make this a up or down on, drag queen story time for 2 to 5-year-olds. But the tolerance, and I'm very confident and comfortable with my viewpoints and opposing viewpoints and having free exchanges of ideas. Okay, well, let's put that to the test. Yeah, Tuttle Twins. And let's see how many people show up. Tuttle Twins, Bible Story Hour, whatever. Have reruns of Davy and Goliath in the kids' playroom. But related story, Bill Maher had that commentary last week that we discussed where he talked about the pedo-friendly nature of Hollywood, and he didn't say it, but the party to which he affiliates. Where do you think minor attracted persons, where did that euphemism come from? And one of the points that Maher made, so Bill Maher making it, is, the famous Willie Sutton observation, I rob banks because that's where the money is. Well, these pedophiles that wind up, his words, at Nickelodeon or just Disney. I mean, of course, he said, or the church. Well, that's where the kids are. Are the kids also in schools? Government schools? Are the kids also at the libraries? Yeah. And you're sure that all these leftists in charge of these institutions are maintaining proper quality control? Because, of course, safety is their raison d'etre, isn't it? Our friend Andy No, the investigative journalist, is looking into a case of a 32-year-old non-binary public library worker from Addison who was arrested on April 24th of suspicion of 7 felony child abuse crimes.
What?
Stephen Craigie is his name, accused of uploading child sexual abuse content on Discord and X and possessing the content on his devices.
Gross. And he's around children?
32-year-old non-binary public library worker.
Non-binary.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a map.
Mm-hmm.
Minor attracted person.
Mike in Littleton, Colorado.
Good morning, and thank you for taking my call. Well, how did we get here? Ashamedly, I've always kind of always figured the law and common sense would save us. And I thought, this would never get a foothold. It's just so crazy and out there. And they're destroying the law faster than I can use the law to save the law. And I don't even know what to do. I mean, we're getting ruled by the the classes of the useless. These people are useless. And I mean, this going back here an hour or so ago.
If only they were useless. You're talking about the people in charge. If only they were just useless.
Yeah.
Useless would be make them relatively harmless, but they're not. They're not.
You're right.
harmless.
Yeah, they would be benign. You're right. I mean, just listening to those legislature. I'm a legislature, and then she puts on the the crying act over a ticket, where any reasonable human being would have said, "You know what? I broke the law. I'm sorry, officer.
Yeah.
Thank you."
They
right?
probably would have let her
but
go.
No, it's just. But again, I'm being self-deprecating here or self-indicting. I don't even know what to do, guys. I mean, I vote, I contribute, I get out, I help with campaigns. My children at least see it, but what do you do? People, adults my age, have sent their kids to these colleges knowing that this stuff is going on. Who in the hell would do that? I mean, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we start? But anyway, thank God we have folks like you for getting the message out. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for the comment. Well, I mean, I think you start, like Bill Nienberg started. He was one man, and of course he got felled by the mob, but he started in Downers Grove Library by agreeing to be appointed to the library board. It's not exactly a high-paying gig, although it can be in some places, but not there. And he took a stand against, he was the only man. He was the Howard Rourke on the Downers Grove Library Board. And some of the other trustees took a stand for him, too. Not enough, though, because they've let things get too far afield. But that's I mean, if you can't get it locally, then I don't see how you scale it. Maybe you need to find a different locality. I don't know. If it's too far gone and you don't see much prospect for improvement in your lifetime and you don't want to spend your life beating your head against bags of cement, I totally understand that. I've acted in that direction, so I get it. Go or engage in activities that are productive, but you also have to take some risks too. It's the old Whittaker Chambers story, right? I thought I was on the wrong side of history. Well, he did. He thought he was on the wrong side of history, but he defected from the Soviet Union to America anyway, and it turned out he was wrong. He was on the right side of history. But yeah, you have to do something where you can do it. And it always seems to me that the local, where you have the most relationships and the most skin in the game, is the place to do it. But as that Jack, who used to live in Downers Grove from Northwest Indiana, said, I wasn't paying it. I mean, honestly, and I appreciate it. Things are relatively pleasant, and there's not a lot of controversy, and we're living our lives, and we're enjoying leafy Downers Grove, and the kids go to South or North, and we go to football games on Friday night, and I got the job, and we got our bridge club and the golf club and this and that, and so we just have our happy suburban life, and you don't think that there are pernicious forces afoot. So you pay no attention, even when they start to rear their ugly heads. And by the time you really start to pay attention and appreciate just how serious the threat is, you're where Downers Grove is today. Mark in the Western Burbs.
Yeah, hey, Dan and Amy, I was saying to your screener that I just heard a talk by Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, and he made a great point that first you displace God, you remove him from schools, you remove him from the Ten Commandments and so forth, and then you replace God. And because there's going to be a vacuum there, whether you honor God or someone else, and that's what's happened is we've displaced God, and now we're worshiping the Almighty God of self, and that's what's led to this debauchery. And it's happened slowly. It's been 40 or 50 years, but that's what's led us to this point.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. It's the conversation we were having earlier in the show about the pro-Islamist terrorist protesters displaying their barbarism on college campuses across America. And we played all those clips from Reagan dealing with protesters at California State Universities back when he was governor of California in the late 60s. Yeah, the seeds that were sown then have now borne fruit, poisonous fruit, 60 years later.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
A toast to our new college grad who fills us with so much joy, almost as much as when we're in our RV. Oh, the world is your oyster, kiddo, and ours too. Now that we're covered with Progressive, Dad and I can hop in our RV anytime we want. Might even splurge on a retractable awning. Ooh, look out. Sorry, what was I talking about?
Protect your loved one with an RV policy from Progressive. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
All right, it's that time of year again. Time for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing sponsored by Signature Bank. And this year, we're once again partnering with our good friends at Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This great organization helps to provide for our first responders and our military heroes, including our homeless vets. So we're excited to help raise money for them coming up on Wednesday, June 19th at the McCrae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. We have 4-somes and 2-somes available. And when you join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, which includes meals. We'll have prizes for the winning 4-some, longest drive, closest to the pin, yada, yada, as well as a silent auction. And if you own a business or run the marketing for a business and you purchase the 4-some, guess what? You'll receive an AM 560 marketing package, which includes 25 one-minute commercials that will air right here. Also, you'll get a free digital marketing analysis. So we'll be golfing in the afternoon. And guess what? Team Amy is still available if you want to golf with me. Oh, boy. So, Dan, who took you? Because your 4-some's already been sold.
I don't know. There's a bidding war, but I don't know who ended up winning.
Well, what about our Dwight friends, Patrick Cotter?
No, they don't play anymore because you insulted them by calling them country bumpkins and other pejoratives. They don't feel welcome.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You're unwelcoming.
They're not coming to the tournament this year?
They're going to keep their money down in Dwight now. They're done with you.
No, they're not.
You've destroyed another relationship,
well,
another beautiful friendship.
Well, just because of One-Eyed Mike, right? I mean, is that why?
Yeah. See, the tears flew from his good eye.
Stop it. Team Amy. Team Amy is still available, so get your foursome together and join us. Go to 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Control Point Engineering, Waukegan Roofing, and Crosscom Public Adjusters.
AM 560, The Answer.
I feel like such a loser when nobody buys me.
Well,
I mean, I'm good for a few strokes.
You should think about that. Whoa. Golf.
Yeah, because it's a scramble. So,
yeah,
there's a lot of holes where the pin is a lot closer to the green.
Well, a few good shots does not put you in the winner's circle, and people probably know this. Yeah.
I have a wonderful disposition.
Yeah.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Just stay out there selling yourself. Somebody will bite. Coming up, we're going to talk to our friend Chris Whalen, investment banker, New York, about the coming rationing of energy if the Biden administration stays in power. 7:37.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
7:33. Police in Kenya say 40 have died after a dam collapsed in that country's west in the Great Rift Valley region. A 4-month-old in Oklahoma is among those killed after severe storm systems rolled through the nation's heartland. 5 deaths are reported as a result of the weekend storms. Heather Johnson's home was hit by the tornado.
It's the trees through the windows. We had just done new construction. It's all gone. So, everything.
The town of Sulphur, Oklahoma, and Minden, Iowa were among those with the worst damage. This morning, an unnamed Hamas official says Palestinian groups have no major issues with a new proposal that could result in the freeing of 133 hostages being held captive in Gaza. The Paris-based news agency AFP is citing an official who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Negotiators from Egypt and Qatar are meeting in Cairo today with Secretary of State Antony Blinken.
Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous on the part of Israel. And in this moment, the only thing standing between the people of Gaza and a ceasefire is Hamas.
It was his 7th visit to the region in recent months. Detroit Mayor Mike Dugan says he's proud after the city shattered the record for attendance at the NFL Draft this weekend. More than 750,000 people attended that 3-day event. This morning, the Northwest Indiana Times is reporting the Indiana DNR is investigating after a man was found floating early Sunday morning in Lake Michigan at the Indiana Dunes State Park. Porter and Chesterton Fire responded to the area around 6:50 a.m. The man was found floating fully clothed in about 1 foot of water, according to the town of Chesterton. And Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services will be held at the St. Rita Chapel in Chicago. Mourners gathered yesterday for a public visitation at the Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oak Lawn, led by retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Rose.
This is senseless. This is needless. There is no reason for this. This has to stop.
And rewards totaling $100,000 are being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the man wanted for the murder of Huesca. A warrant was issued for Xavier Tate, Jr. Cubs lost to the Red Sox 5-4 at Fenway. The Mets are on the schedule for later tonight. White Sox winners over the Rays, 4-2. Garrett Crochet on the mound against the Twins later tonight. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. Fox Valley Coins currently buying all gold and silver bars, coins, silver dollars, rare date, proof, and mint sets. Visit foxvalleycoins.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains yet another line of flawed logic.
The latest is about the American Medical Association declaring that medicine is imbued with white supremacy. I didn't know that. American Medical Association, like the entire medical establishment, has been taken over by the anti-American, anti-truth, anti-goodness left. And this is what happens.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've been cooking most of my life after seeing my parents cook, so I stuck with some of the Spanish traditions, some of the Cuban dishes. And I like to cook my own food because I want to know what's in my food. Balance of Nature, it's already incorporated into my diet. I've looked at other supplements out there, and they don't have what Balance of Nature has. So I am taking the initiative to stay on Balance of Nature forever.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, listen up. If you've got high blood pressure, you're going to want to hear this. I was introduced to an all-natural juice drink formulated by a gentleman who suffers from high blood pressure. He created something called 120 Life. 120 Life is a juice drink and powdered mix that helps lower blood pressure naturally. Thousands have tried it, and it's helping control their blood pressure, and it'll help yours too, or you get your money back. It's made of pomegranates, tart cherries, cranberries, hibiscus, beetroot, and magnesium. It helps lower blood pressure without all the side effects of medication. I'm recommending this product to my listeners who want alternatives to prescription blood pressure meds. Try 120 Life for 2 weeks and see for yourself. If you don't see lower blood pressure numbers, there's a money-back guarantee. Order online now. Visit my friends at 120life.com. That's 120life.com. Use the coupon code MIKE to save 15% at checkout. That's coupon code MIKE to save 15%. Order now at 120life.com. 120life.com, the natural answer to high blood pressure.
At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, we honor traditions, celebrate faith, and cherish memories. Take an active role in establishing your legacy for future generations by pre-planning your final arrangements today. Alleviate your loved ones of future financial burden. Lock in today's prices and take advantage of interest-free financing and no hidden fees. Visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 to schedule a free consultation today.
Join me, Dennis Prager, on an unforgettable Bible cruise to the Caribbean, November 29th to December 8th, 2024. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. Amid profound conversations, I'll share about the Bible and my insights into current events in a way that I believe you will really enjoy. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
7:40. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. We'll start on the Kennedy, where right now it is 95 minutes from O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Delays on the Stevenson between Harlem and Pulaski. It's 80 minutes in from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Outbounders, you've got an accident being dealt with between First Avenue and the Tri-State on the Stevenson. Bishop Ford jams solid Stony Island feeder into the Ryan merge. Tri-State disabled vehicle right shoulder northbound right at I-80, I-94, Porter County, Indiana. Accident on the entrance ramp from State Road 49. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, a morning shower, then clouds and sun by the afternoon. High 74. Currently rain and 60. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. David Walsh is a former president and CEO of Mitsubishi Hitachi Power Systems Americas. And he is sounding the alarm, as are others with his expertise, about America's electrical grid. He said in an interview with Breitbart, we've got regional grid coordinators across the grids now impacted by grid operators telling us they're running out of electricity. We're not generating enough baseload constant duty electricity to support demand. States like California already import about a third of their electricity, and they're running into problems in Southern California. He goes on to say, a massive shortage of what's called baseload constant duty electricity power plants. That's what we have. These plants that run are ones that run all day long, 24/7, 365. Very high capacity factor, 92, 95% being displaced with stuff that operates, if solar, national average, 5 hours a day. Up to the north, about 4 hours a day. Wind on land is about 8 hours a day, but again, radically modifies day to day. Is about 75% variation in daily wind volume or speed for power generation. Unreliable, in other words. You've got a great shortfall there, great shortfall with solar displacing assets that run all the time, so you wind up with a systemic reduction of energy being produced by the electrical system. We've got grid operators around the country sounding alarm bells that in the next few years, they're not going to be able to meet demand with the amount of electricity being generated. Well, if we have a dearth of supply, then what will we see? Well, the only thing you could see, government rationing. Like healthcare. How's that going? For more on this and other matters economic, pleased to be joined by Christopher Whalen, investment banker, chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, author of Ford Men, From Inspiration to Enterprise, and editor for the Institutional Risk Analyst. Chris Whalen, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
This is something that is starting to get more attention, particularly as Biden's EPA advances in a more draconian direction with respect to their monomaniacal focus on carbon emissions to the detriment of, powering a $25 trillion economy. And I suspect those who are substantial users of energy are well aware of the gathering storm.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see this in Europe. They've crippled their economy because of the headlong plunge to net zero. Instead of spending their time remediating the obvious warming of the globe, they want to try and reverse it. But the truth is that human activity contributes to global warming, but the globe is warming, and there's not a lot we can do about the natural change of things. I always like to remind my friends where we grew up in Maine, the beautiful lake country, we used to have a mile of ice above it 10,000 years ago. And it's going to keep warming. That's just the way it's going, and we have to adjust. It's no other way to put it. The electrical stuff, though, you were just getting into is wonderful. What a idiotic thing to do.
Well, right. I mean, but so we talk about democracy in decline, our representative Republican decline, when people say that. And a lot of the discussion has been based on, lawfare, criminalizing political viewpoints, certain political viewpoints. But the representative Republic also goes into decline. And it's also been discussed in terms of printing money and the debt that we're accumulating. But it also goes in decline if you can't power the economy. If you can't power the world's largest economy. And it seems that we're intent on making sure that there's no possibility of the standard of living that so many of people have come to enjoy.
Oh, yeah. Base load electricity is kind of basic. You cannot do it with wind farms. Here in New York, the progressives want to erect many, many new windmills, and they will treble the cost of electricity in New York. Now, if this doesn't turn this into a Republican state, then I don't know what else to say to you. But New York City won't work. You cannot air condition those buildings if you're going to increase power costs like that. And then the other issue, of course, is that New York will become an importer of electricity because we don't have enough base load here. But you know what, Dan? The good news is, once we're done with this childish idiocy from the left, we're going to build a lot more nuclear reactors. That's the reality. Because when American families are sitting in the dark in California while they're being browned out every day, which is exactly what's going to happen, they will change their political orientation.
Yeah, but
but even if Biden's, I'm sorry.
Well, we're going to need an Operation Warp Speed and then some. It takes a minute to bring a nuclear power plant online. Even these.
Yes, it does.
So sitting in the dark for a generation doesn't sound too attractive.
Semiconductor fab. You can build a nuclear power plant faster than you can build a semiconductor fab. How about that?
Yeah, but how long are we talking?
Years, many years.
Yeah, but if Biden's still in office, I'll be like, oh, so sad, too bad.
You know what? These guys are so far over their skis, Amy, in so many areas. I'm not worried about it. The Democrats are going to crash and burn. And you see this in New York. Some of the big developers are already predicting that landlords are going to just start burning down buildings again, the way they did in the 70s. And I think we're almost there because the unreasonable left in New York that controls Albany they still think they can legislate economic outcomes and that they can legislate inflation, for example. And no, it doesn't work. And you see this in the budget numbers coming out of New York City. You just wait. Even if we get rid of Biden, whoever's in the White House, hopefully it'll be Trump, is going to face a big problem financially, huge. The Treasury, the cities, we've got a long list of things that we're going to have to spend time on, and all internal. America, one way or another, is going to turn inward because we're not going to have any choice. That's how much stuff we've got to deal with. And electricity, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
the power grid that we rely on today was built 50 years ago, Amy. by smart people. We haven't had smart people in a while. So.
Well, it's you know, I mean, it's the problem is you have the left's agenda, and you have to sort of get back to first principles, which is, I don't know, family, faith, and property, because they're all under assault by the left. And with respect to property, even some of those socialists in Albany you were speaking of recognize that, because they're signing on to legislation to rein in this this squatter problem. I mean, talk about sort of the manifestations of end times. This squatter problem that actually has become more than a one-off issue in New York City.
Well, of course, they have attacked it by defining residency and excluding squatters. Okay, but still, you got to enforce it. And in New York City, police, evicting squatters, it's going to look like Operation Move in Philadelphia. Remember that one? So, I think that it's good to hear people talking about this, but we're still in fantasy land on real estate. They're talking about allowing landlords to recover $50,000 in renovation costs when it costs the city of New York over $300,000 to renovate public housing per apartment. They have public sector unions doing 100% lead and asbestos remediation when they don't have to. You don't disturb it. You leave it alone, right? No. So, as long as we can still pretend that this works financially, then we will. But I don't think they'll build those windmills in New York. I don't think they'll have the money.
Well, right. Some of those projects, it was announced last week that they're non-starters, right? Despite the subsidies.
It was even the upfront subsidies don't deal with the real issue, which is once the thing is operated for a few years, you have to maintain it. You may have to take the damn turbine down off of the post. That's not a trivial thing. You think clear in Baltimore Harbor with those cranes trying to get that bridge out of the way is a big deal. Taking one of these turbines off of the post is a big deal. It's very dangerous, too. So I think there's other ways we can make power, and it's called nuclear, Dan.
Yeah.
You want to buy some stock, do your research, go buy companies that enable nuclear power, because that's the future. The only way we're going to do it.
What's your crystal ball tell you about things economic between now and November, as we are apparently, according to the numbers, in a stagflationary period in America?
Thank you. I am happy to hear you say that. It's a qualitative recession. In other words, the numbers are still okay. The inflation numbers are going back up slowly. But, ask everybody if the cereal box is bigger or smaller this year versus last year. It's clearly smaller, right? It's like that wonderful Persig book, Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's about quality. So everybody knows that we're getting nibbled here and there in qualitative terms. Everybody's working harder for less. And that's the legacy of Joe Biden. If we can get the Trumpster out of the courtroom, I think he'll mop the floor with him. Because people aren't excited about another 4 years of Joe Biden. Quite the opposite. Especially here in New York. There's absolute apathy regarding all of these leaders. And if a Republican would show up who can actually make an argument and stand up in public, I think you could win this state. New York is a disaster. And I think that we just don't attack it properly. I'm tempted, as I've told you before. But I have some work to do this year. I have a couple of bank indexes I have to stand up.
Well, I think that's Steamfitter who was asked if he had a message for Joe Biden, and he said, "Yeah, F you." I think he's communicating something very visceral in the direction of D.C.
You know what he did the other day? He went to have dinner at Michael Douglas's house.
Yeah.
With the lovely wife, and they
Catherine
closed the
Zeta-Jones.
schools in Irvington for 2 days
What?
to accommodate this gentleman's egress and ingress. I couldn't believe it. I mean, these are oligarchs. And yet Joe Biden will lecture us about democracy? Oh, my God. I love those pictures of him with the sunglasses, That's the perfect image of the Democratic left, authoritarian and smiling. We will help you.
See, I hope that Joe does a face plant so we could have President Kamala. That'll be the end of the Democratic Party. You get a month of her on television.
Oh boy, I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to stomach that.
That laugh, it's very
The
infectious.
undead. Come on, she's
The
a
undead.
trial lawyer.
Yeah.
You know how she got there. We don't have to go through the history of
No, I even know how she got there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know how. Look, I wrote a piece for American Conservative about her. People forget it was a national mortgage settlement and the billions of dollars she took home when she was Attorney General in California. That's why we know about Kamala. Otherwise, we never would have heard of her.
Well, and I mean, it's not like she was the brainchild behind that. Like the real trial lawyers and
No.
the attorney generals
No.
are the
Yeah.
the
Oh,
window
no.
dressing.
Oh, no, there was a gal from Texas who drove that bus. That was a Bank of America settlement.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is she was there for California.
Yeah, right.
And they have a big slice of the mortgage market, and that's why she got such a big slice. A big slice. And she controlled all those funds, guys. She was more important than the governor.
And
We
then
don't
she
even
dated
remember who that
Montel
was.
Williams.
Christopher Whalen, investment banker, chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, author of Fordman.
It can only get better, guys.
Fordman, From Inspiration to Enterprise and Eternal Optimist. Christopher
yeah.
Whalen, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great week.
You too, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Pastor Calvin from Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights. It is time to get your children and grandchildren out of the godless government schools. How can we subject our loved ones to forced, ungodly psychological examinations and perverse sexual teachings? You would not send your child to a school that teaches 2 + 2 is 5. What is being taught today is far worse and damaging to minds and hearts. We can help through our on-campus Christian school and homeschool program. For over 55 years, we have operated a Christian school now in Arlington Heights, and we have served hundreds of thousands of families across our nation and foreign countries through our homeschool program, Christian Liberty Homeschools. Visit ChristianLiberty.com to learn more or to schedule a tour of our excellent 12-acre facility. Take action today. Visit ChristianLiberty.com, ChristianLiberty.com.
Would you go to court without a lawyer when the other guy is lawyered up? Or are you going to go it alone and learn law and procedure as you go? When you have an insurance claim for your home or business, it's the same thing.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company.
Insurance companies will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them. Not you.
If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%, and we could do the same for you. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at CrosscomInc.com. That's CrosscomInc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Since Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, Illinois has become an abortion epicenter. As states across the country pass laws that restrict or ban abortion, famously corrupt Democrats in Illinois have positioned our state as the abortion oasis of the Midwest. Planned Parenthood's research arm recently reported a 72% increase in the number of abortions in Illinois since 2020. That's nearly 80,000 abortions in 2023 alone. Illinois Right to Life is on the front lines. We're fighting back against the abortion tidal wave, but we need your help. We're gathering the state's most pro-life people to lay out a plan for the future. Will you join us? On Friday, May 10th, come together at Illinois Right to Life's 55th Annual Leaders for Life Banquet with special guest Kirk Cameron for one of our largest pro-life events of the year. To purchase tickets, visit IllinoisRightToLife.org and click on the Purchase Tickets Now link. We need you to change the tide on abortion in Illinois. Go to IllinoisRightToLife.org now.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 8:08, we'll talk about the murder of Officer Luis Cuesca, since he's being laid to rest today. And the media's coverage of crime with John Lott, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. That's 808.
And the migrants are committing crimes, Dan, but they're not violent ones. Yeah, right. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A funeral today for a slain CPD officer. A pushback at Palestinian protests at Northwestern University. And the Cubs get walked off by the Red Sox. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Another attempt to stop the war in Gaza. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Hamas has before it a proposal that is extraordinarily generous on the part of Israel.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken pushing for that ceasefire in Saudi Arabia today. Then he'll go to Israel again. Still warning against Israel's planned ground invasion of Rafah, an area of Gaza filled with civilians. Israeli airstrikes there overnight killed at least 22 Palestinians. Attacks students here keep protesting. That's at UCLA in California, where pro- and anti-Israel demonstrators clashed. The protests have spread to college campuses nationwide, demanding their schools cut ties with Israel. Fox's Brian Yennis reports from Columbia, New York City.
They are also demanding universal amnesty. They don't want to receive any punishment or discipline from the university at all, period, for participating in these protests. The university is asking students to self-identify themselves and attest to following university rules in the future, but even that is not something the protesters seem willing to do. Columbia University President Manoush Shafiq has promised the protesters there won't be any lockdowns or evictions of the encampment and vowed the NYPD will not be called onto campus again to make arrests.
NATO's leaders gone to Kyiv, saying countries have failed to deliver on promises to help Ukraine battle Russia after a long delay in new U.S. military aid and questions about European assistance as Russian forces advance, pushing Ukrainian troops to retreat from 3 more villages in the east. Parts of Oklahoma are in tatters after weekend tornadoes, including a baby killed among the 4 people dead. The small city of Sulphur hit hard, the downtown just about gone. Governor Kevin Stitt tells Fox.
Just unbelievable. But Oklahomans are coming together. The Red Cross was there. People from all over the state are coming together to help.
Someone in Iowa also died after storms there. America's listening to Fox News.
60 degrees. Skies are cloudy. Still some light rain in the area. 8:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The Northwest Indiana Times reports the Indiana DNR is investigating after a man was found floating early Sunday morning just offshore of the Indiana Dunes State Park. Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Funeral services for Huesca will be held at the St. Rita Chapel. Mourners gathered yesterday for a public visitation at Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oak Lawn.
This is senseless. This is needless. There is no reason for this. This has to stop.
Retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy. A North Suburban carnival did not reopen Sunday after fights broke out there on Saturday. Carnival event leaders say there was a significant number of unchaperoned teens who began to fight. Police were forced to break up the crowd. And the law firm representing Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the Village of Dalton in several lawsuits is now asking to withdraw from those cases. The Delgado Law Group says it's not being paid, so it will stop appearing in federal and state court and defending Dalton and Henyard in 22 separate lawsuits. Northsiders lost to the Red Sox at Fenway 5-4. They take on the Mets tonight. White Sox sweep out the Rays with a 4-2 win at guaranteed rate. They take on the Twins tonight. The news, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. AM 560 news time is 8:03. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report. Tesla shares are rallying up more than 9% after reports the company will work with China-based tech company Baidu to provide full self-driving assistance for drivers in China. Domino's Pizza shares are up nearly 1% after dramatically better sales and earnings. Its U.S. sales at existing stores were up more than 5.5%. It was helped by its loyalty program and its relationship with Uber Eats. Alphabet shares are slightly lower this morning after rising to a market value of $2.13 trillion on Friday. It's the first time Alphabet, parent of Google, has closed with a value over $2 trillion, pushed higher by upbeat earnings and plans to pay a dividend for the first time. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees another reach from the White House.
The Biden administration is proposing a sweeping initiative to slash student debt for nearly 30 million Americans. The proposal marks a major new White House effort to appeal to progressive and younger voters. What is this actually what Joe Biden is doing? This is naked bribery.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Admit it, this is the worst time of year to be suffering with joint pain. You can't enjoy outdoors like you used to. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and if you're tired of achy joints, contact my friends at QC Kinetics before you agree to surgery, steroids, or medications. That's what tens of thousands of real-life patients around the country did, like Robert. Robert's a retired Marine and business owner. Robert had debilitating shoulder pain and couldn't take time away from work to have surgery. So he heard about QC Kinetics and how elite athletes were using these treatments for joint pain. Now Robert feels much better thanks to his treatments at QC Kinetics. And you know what? I'd love to talk about your success story next. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today. The consultation's free with Saturday appointments available. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
This is a red alert for hardworking Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our Election Protection Report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our Election Protection Report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
It's 8:09. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of ReviveYourLawn.com. Don't DIY, RYL. Revive Your Lawn. Outdoor patios, kitchens, softscapes, lighting, and more. Get an instant online estimate today, ReviveYourLawn.com. Bellwood accident reported Manheim north of Oak this morning. I-94 earlier accident, westbound 94 in Porter County, Indiana. between State Road 249 and the Indiana Toll Road. Delays as you roll on the Tri-State. Accident southbound right at Everett. Also, as you roll the Dan Ryan this morning, 42 in 95th to the Burns Circle. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com weather center, here's Ruth O'Brien.
For today, breezy, warm with a brief shower or two this morning, then sun and clouds this afternoon, high 74. Mainly clear, cooler tonight, low 50. Mostly sunny tomorrow, high 73. And more clouds, then sun on Wednesday, high 78. I'm Ruth O'Brien on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 60 right now. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, CPD officer Luis Huesca gets laid to rest today, and as I understand it, both BLM Brandon and Jelly Belly are uninvited to his funeral.
Yeah, Susana Mendoza, whose brother is a Chicago cop, was at the wake yesterday, and she tweeted out, the family came up to her yesterday and said, please, we do not want Governor Pritzker here, and we do not want Mayor Johnson here. So, but the problem is guess who's not listening? Pritzker's listening. He's got other events today, but Mayor Johnson, when they released his schedule at 10:35 p.m. last night, said on his schedule that he will be attending the funeral of Officer Huesca.
Well, we'll see. If he wants a moment like Kathy Hochul had, then go ahead and go to that funeral. It's not going to be received well, but, if he wants to be embarrassed and asked to leave, then perhaps that's what we'll see.
And camera crews are waiting for that moment to happen. What his police detail should be, because they are Chicago police officers, don't drive them there. Go somewhere. It's like, change of plans, sir. If you want to go, you're on your own. But we're respecting the family's wishes, and we're not going. We're not taking you there.
Well,
somebody's got to stand up to him.
On the issue, the underlying issue of crime, the Chicago Tribune analysis is really entertaining. I mean, gallows humor, but what other kind of humor is available in Chicago? Migrant arrests are up, but they're rarely accused of violent felonies. 40,000 asylum seekers have arrived in Chicago in less than 2 years. Tribune analysis of crime data shows the impact of migrants has been mostly felt in non-violent offenses, particularly driving-related and thefts, and few arrests for violent felonies. Yeah.
We're supposed to feel good about our new neighbors, all 40,000 of them.
Well, but the whole idea that robbing people is a nonviolent offense is a canard. That is the predicate to violence, or you better be prepared for violence, and oftentimes it escalates into violence. I mean, it's like calling prostitution a victimless crime. The Tribune goes on to say they're typically picked up for traffic infractions and thefts, and any misdeeds they're committing do not appear to have fueled a crime wave. And they even have some criminologists from William and Mary repeat the statement they made, so it gives the impression of expert opinion as opposed to mindless, politically driven perspective. It's certainly not a violent crime wave. It's an impact of people who are deprived of resources. I don't know. Some of them are getting more resources than our veterans. Anyway, later on in the story, if you can slog through it, is this nugget. The Tribune analysis has limitations beyond how often crime goes unreported. For example, Chicago police don't track arrests of asylum seekers, but rather arrestees' country of birth. Even then, that's not listed in one of 7 arrests.
Why not?
Well, separating out why not for a second, then your analysis has a very large margin of error, doesn't it? And we're to then now disregard this entire analytical piece that the Tribune posted. By the way, One other just sort of point of first impression here. So we have people here illegally, and they're responsible for increases in crime. Even if you accept the premise of the Tribune's analysis, which we've just dismissed based on their own reporting about how big, essentially conceding that they have a huge standard margin of error here, this is all preventable crime. None of this crime should be happening because
They shouldn't be here.
they shouldn't be here.
And the whole thing, that's mostly parking driving related infractions. Eventually, if they're driving erratically and they're going to kill somebody, that's going to happen. And what about the Venezuelan who broke a Chicago police officer's hand when he was resisting arrest on Elston Avenue outside of that shelter?
Of course, there's incidents of violent crime, of course, and they're downplaying it. But it's all preventable crime. It's all one category. Preventable crime, crimes committed by people who shouldn't be here. But, of course, they never begin at the beginning.
And they have repeat offenders, too.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by John Lott, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, former senior advisor for research and stats at the DOJ's Office of Legal Policy, author of books including Gun Control Myths and More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So, crime is down. And migrant crime is mostly, as criminologist Graham Usey of William & Mary said, is the impact of people deprived of resources. This whole idea that cities are, lawless places where crime and violence is run amok is just right-wing paranoia.
Right. Well, I don't think the media quite understands how crime numbers are put together. With regard to whether crime's down, there's two different types of sources we have for crime data. There's the FBI reported crime data, and that's the one that the media focuses on. And then there's the National Crime Victimization Survey data, which surveys 240,000 people each year to ask them whether they've been victims of violent crime. And that's shown dramatic increases in crime. And there's the difference between the two is that the first measure looks at crimes reported to police, and the second measure tries to get an idea of what's happening to total crime, reported and non-reported crime. And what seems to be happening is that reported crime is falling, but total crime, particularly non-reported crime, has been soaring. Just to give you an idea of how these two measures are going in opposite directions. Between 2021 and 2022, while reported violent crime fell by 2%, total crime seems to have gone up by 42% during the total violent crime. And there's several simple reasons for it, but one of the simplest ones is just that law enforcement in the country has collapsed. If you look at cities over 1 million in population, including Chicago, obviously, in the 5 years before 2020, they averaged 44% arrest rates for violent crimes, according to the FBI reported crime data. And that started falling in 2020. And by 2022, that was down to 20% of violent crimes resulted in arrests. That's a drop from 44% arrest rate down to 20%. And you have an even larger drop in property crime arrest rates that occurred there. And we can go and talk about why arrests have plummeted in those places. But probably give you some perspective, just last one numbers, and that is if you look at arrests as a percentage of total violent crimes, reported and unreported, it's about 8%. And arrests for total property crimes is about 1%. And just so people understand, just because you're arrested doesn't mean you're charged. I'm sure people in Chicago know what's been happening with the district attorney's office for Cook County. And just because you're charged doesn't mean you're prosecuted, And just because you're prosecuted doesn't mean you're going to be convicted. So if you're talking about, whether it's 8% of violent crimes resulting in arrest or 1% of property crimes resulting in arrest, you're talking about even much smaller percentages that result in convictions and being punished.
Well, you mentioned reported crime is falling. Is that possibly because police can't wait hours? I'm sorry, victims can't wait hours for police to respond? Because we know some people here in Chicago, one woman who was carjacked, it took police an hour 42 to get to her.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's part of it. Look, it's been well known for a long time that the rate that people report crimes to police depend upon things about, what happens to response time, what happens to arrest rates. If people don't think that anything's going to happen to the criminals, and maybe they've learned that from experience because they've been victims of crime before, and they just see that they go and spend the time reporting the crimes. You have places in this country where people will call up and the police will say, we're just not going to respond. You'll have to come into the police station yourself and fill out a report on it. But they're basically told that it's very unlikely that anything's going to happen. And so why take the time to go and do that if it's just going to accomplish nothing, if the criminals aren't going to be caught and they're not going to be punished?
Well, and again, that's just, fun with numbers as you were going through when it comes to how this is spun by these, defund, decarcerate politicians, including the prosecutors. So, for example, in Chicago, this is from wirepoints.org, the total number of homicides, criminal sexual assaults, robberies, and aggravated batteries year over year over the last 5 has increased by 25%, round numbers, in 2024 as compared to 2019. And it's increased out, and it's up over last year, too, year over year to April 21st, to the 16th week of the year. So, I mean, and so they'll focus, murders are down 10% year over year, sexual assaults are down 5%, but the total number of serious crimes is up. And, that's what matters. It's not just all the murders and shootings. It's also these other life-altering criminal acts, too. And I just, it's one of those things where I know people don't pay that much attention to the numbers. It's more sort of what their general feeling is, and they base that feeling on anecdotal evidence. But you just wonder maybe, where there's going to be a break. We were just talking to Christopher Whalen out of New York City, and he seems to think there's a possibility of a revolt in New York City, New York State. But you just don't see any paradigm shifts in any of these big cities that are controlled by the same profile of politician, both in the mayor's office and the prosecutor's offices.
Right. No, I mean, it seems like the media is basically saying, don't believe your own eyes with regard to the experience, because I can't tell you the number of headlines I've seen in news stories saying violent crime is down, but people don't seem to understand that. Surveys show that people think that crime is increasing. And again, there are two different types of surveys. There's surveys there that just go and talk about people's impressions. But then you have the National Crime Victimization data, which deals directly with people themselves. You only get in there if you say you've been a victim of violent crime or victim of property crime. And those numbers show a startling increase over recent years. One of the tricks that the media does in terms of just talking about things like murder is they'll go and compare the murder rates now to what they were in 2020 when they spiked up.
Right.
And they don't compare it to 2019, the last kind of, normal year that we had there. And so you have all sorts of people that say, look, in 2023, we had this huge drop in murders. But they don't tell you that it's still higher than it was in 2019. You had about a 13% drop in murders in 2023, but it was still 7.4% higher than the murder rate was in 2019. And so part of it is just what year they compare it with. But whether it's numbers on the economy or whether it's numbers on crime, I think for some reason the media seems to want to go and try to convince people that their own experience is somehow the outlier, that other people aren't experiencing this huge increase in violent crime. But look, you look at these numbers that we were talking about a minute ago, and I've never seen a drop in arrests like we have seen over the last few years. I mean, to go and say that 1% of all property crimes in large cities result in arrest. 1%. 1%. And we know that the district attorneys in many of these places aren't charging even people that they do catch for property crimes. And only 8% of violent crimes result in arrest. Criminals have like nothing to worry about. It's like you get free crimes with very little chance that you're going to be held responsible for it. And so is it surprising that you have this huge increase in violent crime and property crime that we've seen over the last few years in the United States? That, even as I say, you look at the latest data that the National Crime Victimization data comes out for is 2022. And between 2021 and 2022, it shows a 42% increase in violent crime across the country.
Yeah, it's The Purge, the movie that we talked about in the context of no cash bail in Illinois. The Purge, not just for 24 hours like the movie, it's the Purge for every day of the year. And that's what it's become in these big cities. John Lott, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of Gun Control Myths and More Guns, Less Crime. John, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks. People can find the detailed data and links to the original sources on our website at crimeresearch.org, crimeresearch.org.
All right, thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Gold and silver are at world record highs. The time to sell is now. PGS Gold & Coin is Chicagoland's #1 valuables dealer, specializing in rare coins and precious metals. PGS Gold & Coin Springtime Clean Out Buying Event. Grandma's jewelry box could be worth thousands. Mom's sterling silver flatware and tea sets could be worth thousands. Dad's coin collection could be worth thousands. Do not miss this opportunity. Gold and silver are at all-time highs. PGS Gold & Coin, Chicagoland's valuables expert with 45 years experience. PGS Gold & Coin is an A+ Better Business Bureau accredited business with thousands of 5-star reviews. 4 locations in Palatine, Schaumburg, Wheaton, and Villa Park. Now is the time to get the most money for your precious metals. Call PGS Gold & Coin today. 888-416-2701. That's 888-416-2701. Or visit them online at pgsgoldandcoin.com. Mention you heard this ad on AM 560 and get a free evaluation. pgsgoldandcoin.com.
PGS. When it comes to your valuables, they're the best.
All right. April showers bring May flowers, they say. And today on Dan's birthday, getting a lot of rain this morning and on and off throughout the afternoon. So how's your basement doing? How's your crawl space? Do you keep checking on it to make sure there's no water down there? Well, you don't have to live like that. Our good friends at Permaseal have a solution. Call them today, 800-421-7325. That's 800-421-SEAL. And ask for a free inspection. You don't have to live like this. They'll come to your house. They've been in business for over 40 years and have an A+ rating with the BBB. They'll be honest with you, and then they do give you a great estimate. You could take it or leave it, but don't be scared of going into your basement or crawl space. Take charge, 800-421-SEAL, or visit permaseal.net.
Rick Borick, host of Unleash Your Wealth, talks about the importance of tax planning in retirement.
A qualified financial planner can take you through all the steps to show you every single legal way you can use to reduce and minimize your state income taxes across the board so that, again, you keep more of your money and your family keeps more of your money.
Unleash Your Wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and our new time at 2 p.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing presented by Signature Bank. And this year, AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responders and military heroes, including homeless veterans, and to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Wednesday, June 19th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing package, which includes 25 one-minute commercials between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. And we also have twosomes available in addition to foursomes. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Control Point Engineering, Waukegan Roofing, and by Crosscom Public Adjusters.
Can peace of mind fit into just 3 fruits and 3 veggie supplements? Yes. We start by sourcing the best fruit and vegetable ingredients. We ensure that all our produce meets our rigorous standards in order to give you the highest quality product possible. They are then washed, cut, and put through an advanced vacuum cold process that removes the water using pressure. We then take great care in grinding them into a fine powder. These powdered ingredients are then mixed and encapsulated, locking out air and moisture. The capsules are then bottled and shipped right to your door so you can experience your own personal Balance of Nature success story.
I've looked at other supplements out there, and they don't have what Balance of Nature has.
Balance of Nature really was the game changer. I'm serious, it works.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and Afro Man. Remember Afro Man? So I Got High? That Afro Man?
And then I got high. And then I got high.
Yeah, he's got a 2.0 version of it out. He's putting a little political twist on it.
Well, now it's legal. Back then, it wasn't.
I thought you'd like to hear a little bit of his new riff. Pretty good. Listen closely.
Hey, yo, Hunter. Roll up another one of them congressional blunts, brother. He was gonna get his laptop fixed, but Hunter got high.
Yes.
He wasn't gonna show all them pics, but Hunter got high. He should have let Hillary bleach his whole hard drive. Yeah, hey, Hunter got high. Hunter got high. Hunter got high. He wasn't gonna mess with the hoes, but Hunter got high.
Oh my God.
He was gonna take them all out on the boat, but Hunter got high. He's the smartest man Joe ever knew in his life. Yeah, head to Hunter got high. Hunter got high. Hunter got high. La, da, 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 da. He was gonna go visit his dad, but Hunter got high. He thought he had a secret stash, but Hunter got high. The White House got shut down. We all know why. Yeah, hey, Hunter got high. Hunter got high. Hunter got high. Biden never used to start with BUI. Yeah, hey, till Hunter got high. Hunter got high. Hunter got high.
That's my favorite line. Biden didn't used to start with B-U-Y. B-U-Y-D-E-N as opposed to B-I. That's a good line.
That's good.
All right. Thank you, Afro Man.
It's good. You got to see the. Are you going to tweet it out? Or you can just go to their Twitter?
Yeah, I'll tweet it out.
All right.
Coming up at 8:38, Jerry Seinfeld announces the death of comedy. Well, at least situational comedy. 8:38.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
8:33. Skies are cloudy and right now 60 degrees, and the White House is urging protesters on university campuses against the Israel-Hamas war to keep demonstrations peaceful. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby.
We certainly respect the right of peaceful protest. People should have the ability to air their views and to share their perspectives publicly, but it has to be peaceful.
The White House also says Joe Biden has again spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as pressure is building to reach a deal that may free some Israeli hostages. Search and rescue efforts are underway in Oklahoma after severe weather over the weekend caused at least 5 deaths. Governor Kevin Stitt.
You just can't believe the destruction. Like, it seems like every business in downtown has been destroyed now.
The Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management in Sulphur says there were 100 injuries reported. This will be a very busy week when it comes to first quarter earnings. More than 150 companies are set to report results, including big names like Amazon and Apple. The Northwest Indiana Times is reporting the Indiana DNR is investigating after a man was found floating early Sunday morning in Lake Michigan, just offshore of the Indiana Dunes State Park. And Chicago police officer Luis Huesca will be laid to rest today. Services for Huesca will be held at the St. Rita Chapel after mourners gathered yesterday for a public visitation at Blake Lamb Funeral Home in Oklahoma.
This is senseless. This is needless. There is no reason for this. This has to stop.
Retired Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy helped lead the mourners yesterday. Chicago sports. Cubs lost to the Red Sox 5-4. They take on the Mets tonight. White Sox swept out the Rays with a 4-2 win at guaranteed rate. Garrett Crochet on the hill against the Twins tonight. And our congratulations to two-time WNBA MVP and 3-time champion Candace Parker, announcing her retirement. Parker, one of the elite athletes to ever play high school sports in Illinois, the Naperville Central grad, and 2-time Illinois high school champion, was the National High School Basketball Player of the Year. The news is a service of the Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of Ad Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the Northwest suburbs and Chicago with over $800 million in sales. You'll get the most value for your home. Call 708-828-0000. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka sees another cover-up.
Merrick Garland is refusing to release the audio of Special Counsel Robert Hur's deposition of Joe Biden on the illegally held classified documents that he kept for decades in his garage. You know, the one where he couldn't remember what year his son died or when he was vice president. Refusing to release.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Frank Vance, co-owner of Egan Vance Insurance Agency on Chicago's Northwest Side and a customer of Signature Bank. In my line of work, we pride ourselves on being there for our clients when they need it the most, and we recognize when someone does the same for us. As Egan Vance was expanding, we wanted to buy a much sought-after building in the neighborhood. We couldn't waste any time. I called Signature Bank, and that was all it took. I didn't have to talk to multiple people in silo departments with multiple forms to fill out. One call did it all. As the one who was always looking out for my clients, it was a great change to know that my bank, Signature Bank, was looking out for me.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to rumpkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpkes, REMKES, garage.com.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
My name is Dr. Zhang. I'm a doctor of podiatric medicine.
My name is Todd. I'm a paramedic firefighter. I've been on the job for 28 years.
My name is Dr. Peter Munda. I'm a chiropractor in New York, Long Island.
I've been taking Balance of Nature for 23 years.
I love Balance of Nature, and this is definitely a product that I would recommend to other people, and I'll never stop taking it.
How many 70-year-old pitchers you know? As far as Balance of Nature goes, I'll keep taking this stuff until the day I die, you know?
I'm almost 55 years old, and because I have so much vitality, I can really enjoy the great outdoors. Our bodies are kind of like machines. If you do not give the machine the proper nutrition, it's not going to work very well. Simple as that.
Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
It's 8:40. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Macy's Backstage. Mother's Day is coming up. Macy's Backstage has amazing deals on great gifts that mom is going to love. All for $15 and under. Find a store near you today at Macy'sBackstage.com. Off price on trend and arriving daily. Southwest Side, Archer Heights, Archer east of Pulaski. An accident being dealt with. Traveling in Riverdale, Halstead and 134th. Report of an accident. Veterans Toll Road this morning showing some big slowdowns. Northbound on 355 between 75th and the Reagan Memorial. And delays on the Bishop Ford and I-57 jamming into the Ryan merge. The Ryan itself 35, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast in our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center. Morning shower, then clouds and sun for the afternoon, high 74. Light rain reported 60 degrees at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. I want to get to Jerry Seinfeld's comments on situational comedies. You know, he knows something about sitcoms.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But first, we have an important message from Ron on the South Side. Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Amy and Dan. Dan just had to call you and wish you a happy birthday. Yay. You are simply the best.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Next time I talk to you all, I'll be calling you all from a hammock with a nice cigar and a bourbon coffee drink. So I'll talk to you all then.
Wait.
Yeah,
when are you moving to Hammond?
No.
No, I'm going to Belize Friday.
Oh, it
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to Hammond to have a tropical drink and a cigar.
Yeah, speaking of being a comedian, that was good, Amy. But
yeah,
Dan,
if only it was
all the
intentional.
best.
Oh, yeah, that was planned.
Hey, but thank you so much. Thank you for producers for putting me up. But all the best to you, Dan.
Thank you, Ron. Enjoy Belize. Have a great time. His son's
going
getting
there, too.
married
Yeah.
in Belize. Destination wedding.
Gonna
We heard about.
Dive the blue hole. Well, happy birthday, 52 years old. You're playing with a full deck now?
Uh-huh.
And how are you going to celebrate your big day? I feel bad because people are texting me wondering where you're going to go to dinner tonight, and they want to hang out with you.
I've told you, I'm going to be in Illinois State Board of Elections prison today. I may or may not make it past the day of my 52nd the 52nd year of my
Did they
birth.
plan this, though, so that it would be on your birthday? Because you wouldn't want to do this for your birthday.
I don't care. Just you have to deal with this specious lawfare from fraudsters like Mark Elias representing fraudsters like Jelly Belly Pritzker, for the crime of
having an opposing voice or putting up a candidate.
Yeah, and for putting him, even if Darren Bailey didn't make the race particularly close. We put Jelly Belly through the ringer on matters like we were just talking about with John Lott, the Safety Act, the Pritzker Purge Law, and a host of other issues, and they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like to be challenged. There's no need to challenge them. They are our betters, and things are going swimmingly, and how dare you, and so forth. So anyway, that's how it is. That's fine. I can carry the weight. No big deal. Seinfeld.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to get to this because Seinfeld's becoming more outspoken about this censorious culture that is being promulgated by the left. And good. We need Jerry's voice and a lot of other voices along with him. Hopefully he'll encourage others to step forward as well. This was Seinfeld on the New Yorker Radio Hour talking about the death of sitcoms in particular. Not the death of comedy writ large, because you still have stand-up. So it's an important comment he makes, and here it is.
It used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Now they're going to see stand-up comics because we are not policed by anyone. The audience polices us. We know when we're off track. We know instantly, and we adjust to it instantly. But when you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy.
Have you had that experience?
No.
Because isn't that what Curb is all about?
Yeah, Larry
basically-
was grandfathered in. He's old enough that I don't have to observe those rules because I started before you made those rules.
It's really good. And the question that he posed, I was thinking about it, and I don't really have an answer. You used to go home, watch Mary Tyler Moore Show, All in the Family, Cheers. So where is it now? What do you go home and you're ready to watch on a Wednesday or Thursday night now? What are the networks offering? Even the streaming services, what sitcoms are they offering that, fit that those lofty standards of those seminal sitcoms from previous generations? I can't name one. Can you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. And I consume a lot of movies and television series and so forth. I mean, think about it. And all of these sitcoms, whether they could have been made today. I just had this conversation actually on the podcast I do for American Greatness, Counterculture, with Rob Long, who we've had on the show before. He's co-founder of Ricochet. And he was a writer and producer on Cheers, speaking of Cheers. And so we talked about, could Cheers be made today and made in the same way? And of course the answer is no. You couldn't have.
What was offensive about Cheers?
Because Sam Malone was a woman, quote unquote womanizer. It was misogynistic and so forth.
It was fun. That's when men were men.
Stereotypical roles, but it was an interesting comment that Rob Long made in our discussion about that too. He says that the audience is so fragmented, and you hear Hollywood, the audience is so fragmented and so forth because there's so many more outlets. Yeah, but his point was it's fragmented because you're fragmenting it. It's fragmented because you're pushing this political pap masquerading as art, and a lot of people aren't interested. There's nothing that is unifying or interesting the way and prompts discussion. And did you see this? And remember that episode, like the great sitcoms of that Jerry Seinfeld just rattled off, and others you can add to the list as well. Because, those were reflective of the debates going on in the country. They put a good spin on it, made people laugh at themselves. You couldn't say the stuff that Red Fox said in Sanford and Son or Archie Bunker said in All in the Family, of course. But remember, the great ironic thing is that these sitcoms were all the work product, those specific ones, of a guy who founded People for the American Way. He was basically almost a communist, Norman Lear, right? But Norman Lear, a dyed-in-the-wool man of the left, couldn't do what he did that way. And of course, he had a commentary. Archie Bunker was not the hero in the story. It's like sort of Sam Malone is not the hero in the story, but they're complicated figures that have faults, and their faults get exposed, and that dynamic is part of the fun. It's not like Norman Lear was promoting the Archie Bunker worldview when it came to diversity, to use the word of today. But it's really true. I hadn't thought about it the way that Seinfeld said it until he said it, which is, tell me what the sitcom is at present that fits the bill of Seinfeld, Cheers, All in the Family, these great sitcoms of previous generations, going all the way back to the advent of television. Every generation had one. Does this one?
No, I mean Blackish, and that's horrible to watch. That's reverse racism.
But the whole point is that's and I haven't watched it, but that's an example of what Rob Long is saying. Oh, if the audience is fragmented, you're fragmenting it. You're not doing anything that has broad appeal because you're too interested in advancing a political flag. You do something that has enough texture, enough layering that has broad appeal, and you'll get a broad audience if you do it well. Nick, Northwest Side.
Yeah, thank you. And hello, Dan and Amy. I was telling the screener that all these stations that you mentioned, they're all on the air with my free TV, the one I get over the air with my little antenna. And they're all there, and maybe a few more, some old shows from decades ago. So that are funny shows still, and so they're still around. You just got to, maybe get a separate little TV and just get a over-the-air antenna and pick up all these points, like 11.1, 0.2, 0.3, all these different stations.
Well, yeah, I know, but yeah, right. You can go on Amazon and watch reruns of Frasier and Cheers and All in the Family and Sanford and Son, so forth. But the question is, what is being produced today, and what is even possible to produce today, given the monoculture in Hollywood? Paul, New Lenox.
Hi, guys. Yeah, you're not going to replace Sally and Buddy from Mary Tyler Moore, but a program I picked up on a couple years ago was Resident Alien. I don't know if you caught it, but it's kind of a cross between Green Acres and Everybody Loves Raymond, but it's pretty funny. That's the only thing I look forward to on a Wednesday night. Have a great day.
Thanks for the call. Wait, is Resident Alien, is that the one with...
Resident Alien?
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but but is that current? I guess it is current. I don't know, but I mean
2021 sci-fi 3 seasons in. Yeah.
Yeah. Sci-fi.
So it's
not
Resident
sitcom.
Alien, no.
Maybe it's
But
a sitcom
everything's-
with a sci-fi
Right.
sensibility. Matt, Southside.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I think that my opinion was the Roseanne reboot. I think that one was kind of topical, and I think that, they did their best to make it funny. Of course, once they got rid of her, a lot of that changed. But I think that was relevant when it first came back, and I think that's why the ratings were so high when it first came back on the air.
Thanks for the call, Matt. Greg, Jefferson Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I think one of the biggest jokes we got going now is you had Al Bundy, who is one of the classic comedies in all time. Now the father on Modern Family, which is, it couldn't get any gayer than that. Unbelievable.
Actually, Modern Family was pretty good early.
I love Modern Family.
It was pretty good early, but then it sort of drifted into the political because that's where things were being pushed, too political. But it was pretty sharp. The writing was pretty crisp. But it did fade after a couple of seasons, at least for me. But I mean, but think about it. But even still, that's a decade old.
Right.
So what's being made now?
Nothing that I know of.
Nate and Culver. This is a good show. Go ahead, Nate. Culver, Indiana.
Hey, good morning, guys. The only one I can think that pushes any borders is Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's a good show.
I mean, the first episode of the show is called "The Gang Gets Racist." I mean, but everyone loves it.
Thanks for the call. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is really good. It's really good, and but again, that started. That had to be 15 years ago. It started. I know it's had a long run. And I think Seinfeld was more sort of in the moment saying, today. Because 15 years ago is like...
a lifetime ago.
Somebody, who was it? I saw somebody online say that like 2009 to 2024 is like 1955 to 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's right. I think that's how massive the culture has shifted in that 15-year period. So right. So would it's all if it was today that you were launching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, could it get launched? Could it get by those committees that Seinfeld was talking about?
Hey, I have a little bit of breaking news. We're just learning Mayor Johnson is not going to attend the funeral of Chicago police officer Luis Huesca.
Yeah,
we continue to send our deepest condolences to the family and colleagues.
Yeah, he doesn't. Of course, he doesn't want that moment.
He will not be attending.
Renee in Barrington.
Yes. Hey, Dan. You could probably think this through better than me, but I think one of the problems is that it seems like there's a pervasiveness of concrete thinking, very simplistic Neanderthal type thinking, racism bad, diversity good. I'm not sure that people could pick up the nuances of a Archie Bunker today.
Right. Yeah. Right. And they're not even trying. There's no such thing as nuance. I mean, everything has to be, on the nose and then beaten into your nose. That's how it is, which is why it's all so schlocky, and which is why you have the fragmented audience, which is to say small little audiences around small little shows. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm Gary Rabine, founder of Rabine Paving and the Rabine Group. I'm a partner of Job Creators Network. I believe that less regulation is important to American freedom and protecting the American dream. Job Creators Network allows me to engage in the fight against job-killing regulations and allows me to network with thousands of other business leaders locally and nationally to grow my business and to fight to protect the American dream. Job Creators Network has been instrumental in winning many battles protecting freedom and small business over the past 10 years, stopping the Biden vaccine mandate and stopping the Biden student loan bailouts at the U.S. Supreme Court. These are two amazing wins. The JCN team has taught me that we can make a difference. For $1,500, only $1,500 per year, you can partner with me in Job Creators Network and fight for the American dream. Find us at joinjcn.com. That's joinjcn.com. Partner with me today and join us to fight for our American dream.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, birthday boy, where can we meet you for dinner tonight?
Send a cake with a nail file in it to 69 West Washington so I can bust out.
Good luck. Can't wait to hear all about it tomorrow. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. Today we're going to have sunshine by this afternoon, a high of 74 degrees. It's 9 a.m. WIND, Chicago.
They keep protesting and encamping on college campuses nationwide. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and at times the anger is boiled over. That's at UCLA in California, where pro and anti-Israeli demonstrators clashed, getting into fistfights as the U.S. keeps trying to stop the war in Gaza. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's in Saudi Arabia pushing for a ceasefire.
We are determined to do everything we can to bring an end to the terrible human suffering that we're seeing every single day in Gaza.
He's again warning Israel against a ground invasion in Rafah, an area of Gaza filled with civilians. Israeli airstrikes there overnight killed 22 Palestinians. Former President Trump just posted on Truth Social